Okay, so you're already live, so we don't need to worry about that.
Do
So
not worry about it. Yep.
we'll wait until Will gets to be live.
Okay.
All right, are we live? Are we live? Yes, we are. Yo, what's going on, YouTube? It's WTG here. How is everyone doing today? Today, we got a lot to talk about. Oh.
Yeah, we do.
And one, I'm kind of, well, just a little bit. Oh. All right. So we're going to start off with the mods as usual. So the very first one we're going to start off with here is New Bartleshagen by ATSVR. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's 127.22 megabytes to download. I personally don't
So
like this.
so this map I thought was okay. This kind of ranked about the mid tier for me personally. It's a bit flat, but it's definitely got some nice little features on it. Now, the one thing I will say about it that kind of is a bit much for me, this is going to be a multiplayer map for sure. It's got many, many, many different farms on it, so you do have a bit of a selection on it. But something that kind of caught my eye on this particular map is the starting farm is really kind of broken up into several different locations. So you kind of have a very expanded starting farm right there in the middle of the map, and then down in the southwest corner of the map itself, you have the second portion of your farm. It's not a bad file size, 127 megabytes to install, not too bad whatsoever. It's going to be a solid map for somebody who wants to kind of go around and just play on it, but it's not going to be one for like the introductory kind of player, simply because of the uh more complex fields. There's like a lot of swoop-de-doos in there and all that stuff, so it's going to be one that's going to be flat and nice for you, but it's going to be with some challenges as well.
Do you have any opinions on it there, Arthur?
I have not played around with any of the new maps. Once again, we unfortunately where we're at, we're on Starlink, and it takes me hours and hours to download maps.
Oh,
So unless I'm really, really interested in it, I don't usually grab them. I have looked through the mod hub though at some of the maps that are out there. That one did kind of catch my interest a little bit. And I'm imagining this is the one with all the small fields, correct? It has like a ton of little fields everywhere.
no, this is
So
this is the one with like big fields on it.
Okay, so it's the larger field one. Yeah. And it was it what was the decor? It was European, correct? Like kind of like just middle European looking.
correct.
Yeah. I mean, we see these a lot. I feel like there are a lot of these a lot of these types of maps come out. And I always want a map that has a lot of character. So a lot of times if it looks like, oh, it's another one of these, like I don't usually grab those. But it definitely something I'd be interested in looking at, just because, like you said, it has multiple farms on it. I do like when they allow you to pick different farms to start from,
Right.
and so that's cool to see that they're doing that again.
Yeah, looking at it right here, it's not doing too hot. 3.1 star rating by 255 people.
Yeah.
Oh, Farmer
Which is
Without.
about where I put it as well. It's about middle of the pack. I think I gave it like a 3.5.
Farmer,
Okay.
Farmer with Outlaw. What's going on? Not much. What's going on with you, Jonah? What's going on? Says, hey, Will T. And then Farmer with Outlaw. I don't have enough screens to watch all. All
Yeah.
right. Now this next one actually goes with this other mod, which is the Peat Equipment Pack. So this is Tassie Farm. This is by Carl TG and Wiki Plays. This one is 282.28 megabytes to download. And
So this, sorry, go ahead.
and the peats can sell up to $40,000 per 1,000 liter.
Whoa.
So this map in particular, I thought was brilliant. I thought this was a very, very solid map. I actually gave this a 5 out of 5. So I'm kind of overshooting what the current user rating is at 3.7. But the reason I like this one so much is the starting farm had this very kind of like almost run down feeling to it without it being run down, because the kind of the starting farm, the house was enterable. Like
Yes.
everything was like nice and new, but the foliage and stuff that was around it was very kind of overgrown and rough looking. It just had a very nice kind of aesthetic around the starting farm. But then you threw in the extra feature of the peat system that they put in there. Even though that is a separate mod that is downloadable and all that stuff, it really kind of gave it just a little nice little kind of flair to the map. Um, and then like you got features like the old rusted silo that was a part of the farm. You had the just the general kind of layout was just very, very nice. And it was one of those where you're going to build it up and make it into your own kind of thing while still having, some established fields, some established, forest and all these different kind of elements that really kind of makes it to where you could build up and make it something special.
Yeah, the also the one thing I was quite surprised about though is because the Pete equipment pack is actually required for this map, but it's not as a required mod. I spoke with Carl TG and I found out why he did that. Because the peat, like the fruit type itself, can be added to any other map, and you can easily use it.
That's cool.
So
Yeah, so he actually has it in the description there that you are allowed to implement the peat system into your map, such as adding the fill type to your map as a sell point and making it functional. He just would appreciate the credit to Carl TG.
yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to find that. What is the peat pack in the under the mod hub?
It's called the Peat Equipment Pack.
Yep.
Peat equipment. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be under the category is trailers.
Oh, okay. I was looking to see. I just wanted to take a look at it. So the map, I like the fact just from the overview, it would be a map that I probably would grab if I was looking for something to try. First of all, I like those like Estonia, Middle Europe, Eastern Europe. That the feel of those maps oftentimes is a neat, different from our typical German-looking maps. Okay, so here's the Peat equipment. I'm looking at that mod now too to see what they're talking about. And this is a pretty neat device. Like that looks like it'd be fun to have a new. I have to try it out and see what it does, but that's really cool. But the map itself, unfortunately, just from the pictures, the map doesn't present itself real well in the photos.
Yeah.
It's a little bit but the map the overview of the map, like looking at the way they have the fields laid out, that would make me want to try the map out just to see like what the heck did they do, because you can see like a lot of fields, but they're just kind of on a stripe through the middle of the map, and then you got a lot of grass area. Looks like some like forestry that's actually planted in rows. And I'd want to check it out just because that's a neat layout. Like you don't usually see maps like that.
Yeah, because the so in like the
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
so like in the second picture
Jingle
on the mod hub, like the area to the left that has like the lines going through it, that's actually where the peats are.
Oh, that is the peat area. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So
And based on my testing, because I did some testing for my map tour the other day, basically what the Peat Equipment Pack is a set of 3 separate mods and a trailer.
Yep.
And the first mod that you use for the peat is basically just a grinder is basically all it is. It just rips up the kind of topsoil of these little land areas. The second one is essentially a windrower. You hook it up to your front and it works as like a plow, and it just kind of funnels it all into like a V into one kind of windrow. And the last one is the actual collector, just basically a forage wagon essentially. So that's basically all you have to do to be able to do this, and it works like a grass system almost, where it just sits there and regrows over time. You don't have to fertilize it, you don't have to lime it, nothing like that. It's basically its own independent thing, and it'll just sit there and regrow, throughout the year, kind of thing. So it's really kind of an interesting kind of system, and like Will was saying earlier, it's a massive payout, an absolutely massive payout.
40.
So you're using it to sell rather than. Does it also act as a type of fertilizer like you would with peat, or is it just to sell?
Just to sell.
Yeah,
Okay.
just to sell.
Yeah. Real quick, Jonah, 500 suds. I don't know if you meant to put subs, but Farm with Outlaw said I had to pull out the phone for a second screen. Felipe says hi. Yo, Felipe, what's going on? And then Alice says, "What do you think of the Montana map coming for PC only?" I haven't seen that one yet. Let's take a look at it. All right. So the next one is going to be the Silver Lake Forest. This is also by Carl TG, which is 89.16 megabytes to download.
So this one in particular, I also rated kind of in the middle of the pack. It's a nice map, don't get me wrong, but it's one of those where I wasn't as interested in this one as I was the previous one by Carl TG, because this one just seems more of a kind of forestry-esque kind of thing, very kind of simple in its layout. You've got a main road down at the southern portion of the map that runs, east to west. It spans the whole thing. You got a northern train system that runs, again, east to west, and a couple of fields that are kind of plunked down throughout this little river that divides the map in half, kind of thing. Um, it just seemed really kind of basic. There wasn't that much in the way of kind of decorations or design or anything. I shouldn't say design, but decorations to kind of jazz it up and make it feel kind of, alive and special. So this one, again, kind of put it in the middle of the pack. I think it was like a 3.5 that I gave it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just
one of those.
once again from the pictures, I would put it just like same as you said, just kind of like in that generic European map thing.
Exactly. And that's it. That's exactly what it felt like. It's just kind of, it's there. And don't get me wrong. It's one of those where somebody might say, hey, this is a great map. What are you talking about? And good on you. If it's something that's up your alley, then have fun with it. I hope you have a blast.
Right, 100%. To me, I wouldn't play on it, but I'm not big into forestry, so there's that. Oh, now I saw this one and I was like, oh, I'm kind of curious on how BD would rank this one. The next one is going to be Calm Lands. This is by ER Shaba. This is 126.43 megabytes to download. Now for this there is 3 required mods. Now I have my personal preference on ER Shaba, LR modding Sir, or not LR modding Sir, like modding Sir, whatever it is. VR,
VSR.
yeah. And Riley Christie one. I have my personal opinions on these guys, and it's not a very good personal opinion. They're actually very well known for taking other people's ideas and mods and bringing them as their own. So
this one in particular, the whole thing that Will was saying there aside, I think this is a solid map. The reason I say that is because it's got that perfect kind of builder element to it, very much similar to the New Frontier, in regards to that kind of sandbox kind of feel. The upgrades that were made to the main starting farm, I think, were very necessary and were very inviting. Now, the one thing I will say about this map that was kind of a disappointment was that I feel that it's going to need an update right away. The icons and indicators that are supposed to be around for the sell points and all the various kind of points of interest, they're not there. They're completely missing. In particular in the cell area, in the north part of the map and on the western part of the map, which the western part was actually a new addition to this version as well. They added the farmers market all the way out to the western portion of the map. So if you're one who really likes to kind of, start with next to nothing and build and build and build from there, this is going to be a good map for you. It's got a ton of grass work, a bit of forestry. It's kind of got that good kind of sandbox feel.
Arthur?
Yeah, once again, I think I like the idea of the I almost never do these start from scratch maps, but occasionally I'll try them out. I do like the fact that it has a farm already on it. That would probably keep me a little bit more interested instead of having absolutely nothing and then no money. I like that fact that, okay, we got a little bit to work with here and then we can build. And I also like the fact that it does have some like sell places on it, because a lot of times these maps just feel so empty, and then there's only like one sell point, and it just part of what draws me to a map is the story. So like what's going on in the region? Oh, look at, there's like a little church over here. There's like a little neighborhood over there. And these maps oftentimes just feel like, okay, it's Wyoming and there's nothing happening even 100 years after everybody went through. They just left it because there's nothing to do there, and so let's move on to somewhere where there's like things to do, and so there's no people there for a reason, and so that these maps oftentimes have that same feeling to me. However, I do like the fact that it has a couple things to it already, and it looks like it could be developed into something fun if you had multiplayer going on, people building their farms and stuff. That would be cool. So this is kind of in between for me as far as like if I would buy it or get it or not. No offense, Louis. Any place that is open.
See,
He's Wyoming mentioned.
the other big problem, and I know I'm not the only one who said this. I know some else, I know a couple other people did. I know Mr. CP even said it. Even DJ Oham, like the whole like the brickwork like layout on like the PDA on like your main map. So you can't square anything off because it's like the way the plots of land are bought. So
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, yeah.
so that's a hard pass for me. But skip over that one. Next one is going to be the Mahindra 6000 8000 series. This is by Orton Modding. I guess how you pronounce it. It's 11.75 megabytes to download. Your price tag is $50,000. Your horsepower is between 60 and 100, and capacity 60. Oh, that's for fuel, I think.
All right, so everybody here knows that, I tend to focus on the whole console aspect. So megabytes and all that stuff. The megabytes for this, 11.75, so it's relatively small. I tend to, when my tractors, I tend to like to look for something that's under roughly about 25 megs. If it's under that, then I tend to jump on it pretty quickly. This is a really good starting small tractor for $50,000, so you can get something really cheap and get up to 120 horsepower. That's actually a really good starting tractor. The only problem with it, per se, is it doesn't have a front 3-point link, so you're going to be kind of limited in what you can do with it, but it does have, obviously, the rear 3-point. It does have weights, things like that. So if you're looking for a really nice kind of open cab kind of feel to it and kind of that kind of throwback, what maybe like what the 80s style of tractor, maybe even sooner than that. Yeah, I'd say this is a solid tractor and one that's worth looking into.
So for me, and I'm super picky. If you guys have been around my channel at all, you'll know
Yep.
I'm awful picky on tractors. This one looks like it came out of 2017. I'm sorry. I just don't like it. I wouldn't download it. It's not detailed enough. And maybe in real life that's really what it looks like, but I would be like, next.
Right.
Sorry.
No. Hey, it's all right, man. I mean,
there's so many things out there available that it's
Right.
like, unless it really jumps out to me, like, oh wow, now that looks like when they released what was it? They had the paid DLC, unfortunately it was paid, but when they released their Case Farm All pack, that Farm
yes.
All looked great. That's what I want to
Yes.
see
yes.
when I'm
Yep.
getting a mod like this. So
Yeah.
that's my pickiness.
Well, I agree 100% with that. I mean, overall, it's not a bad tractor. I mean, if you're definitely running like a small farm and you want something, and like, for me, it has to be more of quality, and how it overall looks. Like, I don't really care if it's like 26 megabytes. Like, if it looks
Yeah,
good,
that me
runs
either.
good.
Yeah, and I should because I'm on Starlink, but I don't.
Now the next one here, which is a big surprise, is this is 5 stars by 40 people. This came out on Friday. This is the Teagle Titan 17. This is by Sid Modding. It is 14.41 megabytes to download. Now this does have a price tag of $35,000. It does hold 20.1. Yeah, so that's 20,000 liters. The working width is 16 meters. The power requirement is 170 horsepower. And it can spread lime. And the lime does spread at 16 meters. There were a lot of people that were complaining about this because they're like, hey, it's not filling. It's not filling from a trigger. It's not filling from this. It's because Sid Modding made it so you actually have to load it over with like a wheel loader or a front loader or something like that. So
So looking at this, less than 15 megabytes to install, not too bad. And looking at our comparables, we have from base game, we have the HAW DST-16. That's a 16,500 liter capacity manure spreader, and we have the Bergman TSW 6240W. That is a 25,000 liter capacity. So this one here is kind of like right in the middle of that. But where this one kind of has it beat is that this has a price tag of $35,000. The two I mentioned are 67,000 and 110,000, and that's just straight manure. That's all it deals with. This deals with lime as well, so it has a little trump card. This one, I would say download all day, every day.
Plus, it looks fantastic. The amount of detail.
It does look nice to me, and I do like the fact that they make it realistic that you have to top load it. That's, as you guys know from watching my videos, that's what I would be doing.
It's exactly no, it's exactly what I do too.
I don't do the pull up next to it and just let it load.
Yeah,
I do I hand load everything. It drives my poor viewers nuts.
It doesn't drive me nuts, man. I enjoy it.
Well, good.
So the next one is going to be the Teagle Tomahawk 6200H. This is by Sid Modding and JHHG Modding. This is 15.23 megabytes to download, and it is a bale shredder. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can hook this up to like everything in the game. So you can hook it up to a 3-point telehandler, JCB, Manitou, skid steer. You can front loader. You can hook it up to everything.
So this one here, we really don't have a good comparable for this one. About the closest that we have is either the Elmer's or the K brand, both of which are $36,500 and $32,000 respectively. This is only 10 grand. $10,000, and for less than 16 megabytes. Again, if you're looking to kind of have that realism of actually throwing the straw into your animal pens, again, download this one because this one is really, again, like we said in the last one, highly detailed. Sid Modding makes some really good stuff, and yeah, it gives you that really cheap kind of introductory price for it. So definitely look into this one.
I would definitely say this one looks good. Very useful in many different applications. Well, obviously you're doing one thing with it, but the fact that you can hook it to a bunch of different stuff in different ways, that makes it very useful. Price is right. Yeah, looks good to me. This is definitely a download.
Oh yeah, 100%. Now the next one is going to be the Teagle Tomahawk 8250. This is by JHHG Modding, which makes fantastic stuff. This is 12.54 megabytes to download. Your price does range between $29,600 and $31,200, only because there is a trailed and a 3-point version.
So basically, take everything I said from the previous one, copy and paste it. You got this one's about in line with the standard stuff that we have in game, but again, 32,000 for the Elmers, 36,500 for the K brand. So this being at 29,600 to start and goes up to 31,200, it's still cheaper than both of those, and yeah, highly detailed, and yeah, definitely would be worth installing.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Now this next one I absolutely really like a lot too. So this is the Teagle Tomahawk C120. This is by JHHG Modding. This is 14.97 megabytes to download. The price tag is $75,000. Then the power requirement is 180 to 200. I mean 280 there. The nice thing about this is that yes, you can make loose straw and stuff like that. You could use certain crops to make straw, but if you put corn in here, it makes pig food. So
this thing is Incredible, absolutely incredible. I loved this thing back in FS22. I'm so glad to see that it's back here for FS25. It's $75,000, and yeah, this could be deemed as like a glorified bale shredder, crop shredder, things like that. But like what Will just said there, the fact that you can put corn in and get pig feed out of it is an incredibly cheap way. Now, I will say that so far in FS25, pig food is nowhere near as bad as what it was in previous iterations of the game. You can get 1,000 liters for $1,000 nowadays, to where that price before FS25 was significantly higher, and this made far more sense to make your pig feed with. Now you're kind of in a kind of a push situation. Is the corn going to be a better payout than the potential of making your pig feed? Now, depending on how much you get, if you are making it for sale for pig feed, I'm not sure how much the pig feed sells for nowadays. I haven't tried that just yet. But yeah, it's again bare minimum, worth an install. It's a nice, highly detailed mod, and if you're looking to create some pig feed really easy, really cheap, there you go.
I think it's unique. This is the kind of stuff that I will download and try because it's multifunction, and it also is just unique to the game. It's bringing something new that we haven't seen before. Well, I don't like you said they had in earlier versions, but at least in 25 we haven't had a portable pig feed maker, which is great. This is really cool. So this is a plus for me too. I would say yes on this one.
And plus the way that I play farm sim is that I make straw, bale it up, and then I have like a different. I call it a comedy shed, I guess, with different bays in it. So that I could like basically make loose hay, put it in there, and then I could take this and just put the bales in there, because what I do is I scoop it up and then dump it in to make silage instead of putting bales in there. So it definitely helps with that too.
And Will, before we move on, can I catch up with my chat real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see. Rail fanning Jonah with a $1.99 super chat says, first super chat. Jonah, thank you so much for the $1.99. Greatly appreciate it. We got Farming with Outlaws says, the man, the myth, the legend, Arthur Chapman.
LOL.
We got Why Not Gaming. How's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says hi, CMR. We got Crimea Rivers and hello to Why Not. Let's see. We got Crimea Rivers says, hope everyone's well. Hope your day is good, Mr. Why Not. We got Pippa. How you doing, Pippa? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says hi, BDD. Let's see. Crimea River says, not a good day. Oh no. Sorry to hear that. We got Outlaw says, had to pull out my phone for a second screen, LOL.
Switch it over here.
Yep. We got, let's see, Why Not Gaming says, that's not good. Crimea River says hi to Pippa. We got Why Not saying, Crimea River, chat later, video time. Let's see, we got her responding back. Karma Stories, how's it going, Karma? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I haven't seen you in a while. Glad to see that you're here tonight, though. We got Whiskey saying, hey there, BDD. Hey there, Whiskey. And we got Taco de Groot. How's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic night so far. And that's everything. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So the next one is going to be called Trail Lift Pack. This is by Manti Banny or Banani. It is 27.55 megabytes to download. So you got two different versions. So you got the swap body, which works on the Volvo truck. This is $35,000, and then you got a semi version, which costs $75,000. So you got one that's 35, one that's 75, and then you got a dolly, which is $20,000.
So this one here, I'm rather indifferent on. The only thing that I will say that kind of leads me towards any sort of kind of direction on this is the megabytes. It's almost 30 megabytes to install this, so 27.55 megabytes to install. If you're looking for kind of a side curtain trailer, it's essentially what this is. That's all fine and dandy. Me personally, I'm not so hard up as I'm going to want to have this kind of functionality for my farm. So I'm going to save the 30 megabytes and move on to something else.
Now, for me, I don't. It's it's strange looking. It doesn't look right. I've been to Europe before. I've never seen a truck that looks like that. I mean, they're close, but it looks weird. However, I will say the pricing is cheap. Like to get the truck, like to get the. I guess it's looking at semi trailers though. How much is it for? Yeah, so you have to use it with that truck, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't get the Volvo with it. You have to match it to the truck. So
Correct.
yeah, I just once again, I there's so many other trucks in the game already. It doesn't really do anything for me.
Right. Yeah, that would definitely be a hard pass for me.
Yeah, and then to invest in the Volvo itself is going to be 137,000 to start.
Yeah.
So you can go up from there.
Right, exactly.
Now this next one I installed like real fast. So this is the Brandt 1124 Deckover trailer. This is by Roughneck Modding Crew. Congratulations on your mods being released on Friday. This is 16.73 megabytes to download. The price tag for the trailer is $12,500. And then for the utility trailer, the premium version is going to be $12,500. Now, the nice thing about this is that you can use it on a semi, you can use it on a 3-point, you have a trailed version. But the awesome thing is that in the shop, you actually have to customize it to basically make it so you're hauling equipment, you're hauling square bales, round bales, because the straps are different, which I think is awesome.
That is awesome.
So this one starts at almost 17 megabytes to install. That right there is borderline going to be too much for me personally as a console player. So I'm not. This one again is at the end of the day, it's a flatbed trailer. So am I going to spend the 17 megabytes to install it when I could spend that for something else that may be, more useful or more kind of utilitarian for the remainder of the farm? I don't know. This one I'm kind of indifferent on. I would say I could be pushed in either direction.
I like the flexibility. I like the fact that it has several different options for hooking up. I would definitely try this one. This would be a guess for me. I like the fact that you can use it with some of the smaller trucks in the game, like they got obviously the picture of it with the international being pulled there. My dog's crashing around. Yeah, I like it. I will definitely try this one on my farm, and I like the smaller sizes too. That's a big one for me.
Oh yeah. Next one is going to be the Bergman Repex 34S. This is by Mackay. I think it's Mackay. It's 7.74 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $80,000, a capacity of 34,000 liters, and the well, it says recommended minimum power is 120.
So looking at this one, less than 8 megabytes to install. That's a good file size. And about the next closest comparable that we have to it would be, let's see, looks like the Shootsmaker Rapide 580V. That starts out at $100,000. This starts at $80,000. So you're talking $20,000 cheaper. The amount that you can get, the Shootsmaker does $35,000. This does $34,000. So spending $20,000 less, and you're getting 1,000 liters less capacity. Me personally, install this one all day.
For me personally, there's too many of them in the game. Next.
Agreed.
No, there's enough choice already out there for me. I wouldn't download this because it's like my friend one time said, in the words of the great old Kyle Stewart, I don't need another 3-meter plow.
Yeah. Oh, I say that a lot too. Oh. All right, so we're moving on from that one. So the next one is going to be the Lizard FTN 1000. This is by Fritz. This is going to be 7.06 megabytes to download. You have a working width of 1 meter. You have a power requirement of 65 horsepower, and you have a price tag of $12,000.
So this one I installed right away. And yes, it's only 1 meter to work on, and the whole 9 yards is going to take forever. But if you're wanting to do silage work on a very small scale, this is going to be a very good kind of starter, to where this is only going to cost you $12,000 to start. to even begin to think about doing silage with a forage harvester like this, you're going to be spending at minimum $460,000 for one of the actual forage harvester itself. That's not including a header. And even if you go the quote unquote cheaper route, base game with the what is that, the Lotica Tech, Loco Tech, whatever it's called, the LH2. That's $85,000, and you need to have a tractor with almost 400 horsepower. So you're putting in, $400,000 for either a tractor or $400,000 for a harvester. And then you got to have this, and you have to have the header in order to hook up to that. This is going to be a far easier and simpler and cheaper alternative. Now, yes, it's going to take you a ton of time to get your jobs done, but at least you can start with this.
On top of that, too.
So, go ahead.
Plus, you can just lower it down and chop up grass.
I mean, my biggest thing with this, okay, so being an Ohio boy and coming from northeastern Ohio in particular, in that area, there's a couple farms that have forage harvesters, maybe 2 or 3. The vast majority of them are using either pull behind or side pulls like these to get their silage for their cows. And you'll see farmers, they'll do like 3 or 4 rows and put it in a silage wagon and let it ferment. And they'll have 2 or 3 silage wagons, and they'll let those things sit, and then they feed them to the cows. And then a couple weeks later, they'll come back out and they'll do another couple rows, and they'll do this all fall long. They'll just slowly pull that corn off the field. They don't do it all at once, but they do it in chunks. And this is at least for me, a very Ohio thing to see these side harvesters. So I like them. To me, this is a win right away because this is how small farms do it.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
The next one's going to be the Kloss Liner 2700. This is by Weekend Farmers. This is... where is it? Aaron Modding. It's 18.37 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $21,500. You have a horsepower requirement of 80. You have a working width of 7.20 to 8 meters. I installed this right away, only because I'm a big Kloss fan.
So this one here, about the closest comparable we have is the Samaz Z2 840H base game. And the Kloss here is 21,500. The Samaz is 19,500. The working width for the Kloss is 7.2 to 8 meters. The Samaz is 8.4 meters. So already you're spending more money for the Kloss, and you are getting less of a working width, and you're having to install it at almost 19 megabytes to install. That's a loss. It's a loss. It's a loss. I say it's not worth it.
Yeah, once again, it's the issue of we've got a bunch of these in the game already. I'm not sure I need another one. However, the Kloss branding, like you said, well, that does stand for something for me, and I probably would download it to use as a kit with my Kloss tractors.
Right.
So that would get a download from me for sure on the PC end of things. I don't know. It looks like it's designed a little bit other windrows this size that I've seen before. It looks different. I'm not sure why that is. There's something different about it. So I'm thinking possibly it does something slightly different in real life that we're not seeing. But I don't know that for a fact. It seems like it does. But it's also adjustable. It looks like they can, if you look real closely at the first photo, it looks like they slide out, and that's why they're getting a 7.2 to 8. You can change the width a little bit, that's different from the other ones. The other ones aren't variable. So that's a little weird, but anyway, well, I would download this just to have the Kloss brand.
Well, you can actually you change it in the shop. There's an option to change it in the shop.
Okay.
Let's hear. So next
real quick, Arthur makes a really good point. If you have a affiliation with or not affiliate, if you have a preference for a particular kind of mod or I can talk, I swear. If you have like an affinity towards a specific maker out there, if you're a big fan of Kloss or a big fan of Case or whatever the case may be, and what we're saying here is kind of runs counter to what you would be as your own kind of person, then go ahead and install it. It's one of those that what we're saying are just kind of general guidelines in our opinions kind of thing. So, don't take what we're saying, to any big extent.
Right, right. The next one is going to be the Pottinger Top 611A. This is by ADA or Agribusiness Design Austria. This is 17.18 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $20,000. You have a required horsepower of 50. And working with is 6.2 meters. So this one's kind of nifty because you can either have it trailed exactly like right behind each other, or you can have it go off to the left hand side, like it's showing off in like the third picture over. And basically, so the one will push it over, and then the other one will push it over in one row, or you can have it go over to the right side and make 2 windrows instead of 1.
So being less than 18 megabytes to install and having that kind of a party trick, having, a 6.2 working with, kind of puts it in between the K-brand GA4731 and the Samaz Z2 840H. But this one is 20 grand to buy. The Samaz is 19,500. So the Samaz is about $500 cheaper, but the Samaz is a 8.4 working with. This is a 6.2. So you're talking 2.2 meters bigger for the Samaz, and you're spending $500 less. And you're getting this for 18 megabytes to install. Arthur was saying earlier that, we have plenty of options already in game. I think that this one would certainly apply.
Yeah, once again, I might download it just because it does double swathing. That's kind of a weird. I like that. So I might download just because of that weirdness. Other than that, though, yeah, it's another windrower. We got a bunch, but I think I would probably still just myself do it just to see, like, well, this is kind of cool. It makes 2 windrows.
Right. The next one's going to be the Lizard Z240. This is by Puzzcap. This is 6.84 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $800. You have a horsepower requirement of 28, and you have a working width of 3 meters. But you can make this as a windrow or a tedder.
So this being less than 7 megabytes to install, the file size is pretty good. If you're looking for something that's going to work on a very small farm, I think this is going to be a good option. And it is dirt cheap. $800 to buy. The closest comparable would be the SIP Air 300F Alp. That is $15,000. So you're going to save over 14 grand just to get this. And it has the option of being a windrower or a tedder. Yeah, I would say install this one.
I'm totally with you on this one. This is a dual purpose. So you got 2 in 1. You can do the windrowing and the tedding with this. Once again, being from Ohio, small farms, a lot of stuff like this, guys using old white tractors. These are the windrowers that we see. I'd never seen the pinwheel type that we have in the game until I started playing Farm Sim. This is what we saw in the fields working the grass. So I really like these, and I think this is a great mod. Definitely a download.
Oh, yeah. So the next one is going to be the Unia Forma 2. This is by Presmic 23433. This is 4.92 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $7,500. You have a power requirement of 45. You have a working width of 1.5 meters, so 1.5 meters. And this is a ridger.
So this one here, I'm not 100% certain on what the best kind of comparable would be. I think it's the Grimmy GF400. Creates the ridges into you can plant your vegetables afterwards. So yeah, I think that's what we're talking about here. And less than 5 megabytes to install. The Grimmy is 28,000. This is 7,500. If vegetables are your thing, then this would be kind of a good one to check out because it's going to be cheaper. It's not that big to install. It's certainly less size. It's about half the working width as the Grimmy, but it's not half the price. You're actually spending more or less than half the price in order to get this. So I'd say that that's worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is probably a worthwhile mod if you like small farming. I still use the larger, the 4 one, because it still works with pretty small tractors. So I don't know if it's necessary, but you definitely would see this being used in real life. I mean, this is something that farmers with smaller tractors are going to use. So
Oh, yeah.
I would say yes on this one too. Now I hate to tell you this, guys. I got to run. I'm having a bit of a doggy issue that I have to go take care of outside. So I'm going to jump out a little bit early here, but I hope you guys have a good rest of the night. Thanks everyone for joining, and those of you watching on my stream, also thank you for joining tonight. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. But I appreciate it, guys. I got to get out there. They're going to end up making a mess in my trailer if I don't. So
All right, no
we'll
worries,
see
man.
you guys later.
All right. Well,
All right,
thanks
have
a lot,
fun.
Arthur, for stopping in.
All right, we'll see you guys soon.
All right, see ya.
Take care.
Bye.
So the next one here is going to be the Unia Cornic XL 2.8. This is by Camo R1, and I'm not going to even pronounce. I'm trying to pronounce that other one. This is 4.56 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $15,000. You have a horsepower requirement of 90 and a working width of 2.8 meters.
So less than 5 megabytes to install. It's not too bad. Working width of 2.8. The next closest comparable would be the Nooch, not whatever that word is. Speed Max 300. That's about the closest thing. It's a 3 meter working width. This is a 2.8 meter. Now, here's the problem. 5 megabytes to install is not that bad. But the price, $15,000 and 90 horsepower requirement. The Nooch Speed Max, whatever it's called, $11,000 and only requires 80 horsepower. So less horsepower and less expensive for the in-game one versus this one. I say this is a pass.
Except if you're a big fan of Unia, then yeah.
Exactly.
The next one is going to be the Lizard SAC pack. I'm not going to say that because I want something to happen. This is by Mito Modding. It is 9.31 megabytes to download. You have a price range between $23,000 and $39,500. You have power requirements of 180, 220, 225, 255, 280, and 315. You have different sizes, which is 3 meters, 3.4, 3.8, 4.4, 5.1, and 5.6 meters, which would also correspond with the horsepower. And it's a plow.
So this one is showing under the category of plows, which really kind of seems off to me because you would think that by looking at this, these would be disc harrows. But going by what the Mod Hub says, about the next closest comparable that we have for the smallest version, which is 3 meters and 180 horsepower requirement and $23,000 to purchase, would be the Agribusiness POV 5XL. The working width is 2.5, so the mod is a little bit bigger. Starting price is $23,000. The POV is $16,000. So you're spending a little bit more, but you're getting about a half a meter more. Is it going to be worth the price? I don't know if the price is going to be kind of outsized of the increase, the 0.5 meter increase that you're going to get compared to the other one. Now, I will say the nice thing about this as opposed to the Agribusiness POV is that the Agribusiness is one of those chiselback plows, to where this one's kind of a trail behind. It's going to be a little bit more predictable than the kind of one that kind of hangs off to the side kind of thing. So I don't know. This one at almost 10 megabytes to install. I mean, me personally, I'm going to go with the Lizard MT or the Lizard 6M before I go and install this one personally.
Right, I agree 100%. So your Farmer Without Law says, still here playing on Mississippi River bottom. Nice. I'm not going to read that from Jonah.
Uh-oh.
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
The next one is going to be DTX 300 AR pack. This is by CRS Design. It is 13.35 megabytes to download. So you have two ones. You have two different versions. So you have a Great Plains version and a Carnarvon version. You have a power requirement of 200 horsepower. You have a working width of 3 meters, and you have a price tag of $29,000. That's your base price.
So closest comparable we have, because it's a subsoiler, is the Agriseam Combi Plow Gold. The download size is 14 megabytes. That's going to be a bit high for me personally. 3 meter working width compared to 3 meter working width. The Combi Plow is $10,000. This is $29,000. So it's a huge price difference. Huge. And one of those that I'm personally going to go ahead and skip.
I have one thing to say. 3 meters. Wah, it's gonna pass on it. Skip.
Yep. So let me catch up with my chat just real quick there. Will, oops. Let's see. Taco says, busy night at the restaurant. Good day. Awesome, Taco. Glad to hear it. Ronnie Johansson, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says, good afternoon, everyone. And hi, Why Not and Crimea River. Hi, BDD. And hi, Will. WCF. Whiskey Creek Farms. Gotcha. Let's see. We got Taco says, gotta go. Have fun, guys. All right, Taco. Well, hope you have fun. You have yourself a fantastic day. You take care. Rail Fanning Jonah with the gifted membership. Thank you so very, very much. Greatly appreciate it. Outlaw says, still here, just lurking while playing on Missouri River Bottoms. Greatly appreciate it. Hope you're having a good time so far. And Jonah with a $4.99 super chat. Jonah, let me get back to you after stream. Just I'll talk to you about this after stream. And that's it.
All right. See. Next one is going to be the Lizard Disc Arrow 2.4. This is by Barton V3. This is going to be 4.68 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $3,500 or $3,500. You have a horsepower requirement of 55, and you have a working width of 2.4.
So closest comparable that we have for this one will be the Noche Crossmax 300, and this starting out price is $3,500. The Crossmax is $9,000. The 3 meter working width for the Crossmax, this has a 2.4. So you're saving almost $6,000. It's like what, $5,500 for this, and you're only losing 0.6 meters. So that's a pretty decent savings. A 5 megabyte to install, a power requirement of 55 versus the Crossmax requires 95. So I would say this is a good one.
Yeah, especially, and I'm quoting Andy Farms here. Yeah, if you like your small farm shenanigans, and install this. So next one is going to be the Carnarvon Silos Vans. This is by Jens M. This is 1.77 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $500. You have it says working width of 2 meters, and you have a capacity of 1,700 liters.
So this shows up under the category of front loader tools, but as best as I can tell based on the images, this is a 3-point link tool. So we'll go ahead and just look at kind of the closest comparable with the kind of bale spike or not bale spike, but this is technically what like a manure fork almost is essentially what this is. Yeah, it does manure in the picture as well. So the capacity for this one is 1,700 liters. The capacity for the Alba manure fork is 1,000 liters. So you get a bigger capacity with the Kverneland, and $500 versus $1,500. It's going to be cheaper, less than 2 megabytes to install. If you don't mind it being a 3-point link, yeah, I'd say that this would be definitely worth an install. Larger size, cheaper price, working with, I mean, 2 meters isn't really all that important important per se. Um, so yeah, I'd say that this is worth installing. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah. Especially if you want to start out with something small you can use. Yeah. Next one's gonna be Balfork. This is by Agrosim Creations. This is 2.48 megabytes to download, and you have a price tag of $900.
So same exact price as the base game Magsy for telehandler tools. This one here has the added functionality being able to fold away the tines. Um, I mean, it's one of those that for less than 3 megabytes to install, it's not a high download. Uh, yeah, I would install this just for the simple added functionality of being able to have the foldable tines. You're not driving down the road and possibly impaling people as you're driving by.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Let's see. So the next one is going to be Farm Rail Triangle. This is by Private. It's also by TWD Rick Black Labelle. It is 0.40 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $95. So
So this I absolutely love. I love these, and the reason being is that essentially all this is a connection to your 3-point link that gives you a further back connection point for your trailers. So you can see here in the images to where it hooks onto your 3-point links right back here in the rear, and it gives you either a ball. It looks like a ball to me, but potentially you could potentially put on a pin hitch as well,
you
depending
can.
on how it's coded. You can. Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah, this I absolutely adore this because what it does is it puts the connection point further back behind the tractor rather than in between the tires themselves. It gives you a much wider turning radius. It gives you a much tighter turning radius, which can really make or break the kind of work that you're doing depending on what kind of stuff you're doing. Yeah, this is absolutely an install worthy. And less than 1 megabyte to install and $100 to have. I mean, yeah, all day, every day install this.
Let's see. Next one is going to be Fiat Weight. This is by Andrea. I think that's how you pronounce it. Well, because you got the A dash and then. This is going to be a 2.65 megabytes to download.
I don't know why, but my brain all of a sudden just went to Ricola.
If you like Fiat and you like using the weights, by all means. Other than that, it's just a weight.
It's a wait.
Right.
That I mean, 3 megabytes to install. It's a wait. I there's nothing more to say. It's a wait.
Exactly. Moving on. Next one is going to be fillable pallets. This is by VX Mapping, which is this is 2.60 megabytes to download. You have different price variants. You have 80, 110, 160, 200, and 300. You have capacity of 2,000, 2,600, 3,000, 3,500, and 4,000.
So, I recently started to love these kind of refillable pallets and whatnot. I've recently really started to love them, and here's why. You can see in the image right here on screen the kind of different styles that they have on the back of a trailer. Now, I always say that whenever I look for a trailer to download or to have or whatnot, I always try to look for the magic marker to be $1,000 per 1,000 liters for that trailer. Now, the problem is that that's kind of a harder and harder thing to come across. But with this, you can have a, one 4,000 liter tub, that little green tub in the very back of the trailer, for $300. $300. Now you can turn your flat deck trailer like your FarmTech DPW 1800 for $20,500. Add a $300 container. Now you have 4,000 liter capacity. And then if you are really meticulous and really kind of take your time, you can sit there and add what may be one, two, three, maybe four in one line, and then double that again. So you're talking maybe 10 of these on one single trailer, making it what 40,000 liters of capacity for that trailer, and having 10 separate slots uh, for you to put 10 separate different types of fill in it. I mean, that's kind of the process that my brain went to, and is why I'm starting to really warm up to this particular mod. And even if you don't want to do like what I'm suggesting here, you can have just a single kind of holding station for one of these and just kind of sling it around your farm as you see fit. Again, you can use it as actual palleted goods, to, like in the photo here with the Fent just taken around with the pallet forks. So I think that this is awesome, and for less than 3 megabytes to install, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Next one is going to be a large implement set. This is by Missy B. This is going to be 0.22 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $2,200. And then you have a price tag of $1,200. Yeah, because you have one that's a pallet fork and one that's a bale spike.
So this one I really, really like. The reason being is that if you ever want to just load more stuff onto your equipment at one time, this is how you're going to be able to do it. The extra long forks here. Like one of the things that I installed on my game is the Junheinrich EFG S50 2.4M, which is basically the elongated version of the base game Junheinrich telehandler, not telehandler, pallet lifter. The fork truck. What? Forklift. There we go. I'm gonna eventually I'll circle my wagon around and get to it. So yeah, it's essentially just a longer version of the base game that we have available to us. So it's one of those where this kind of now kind of stands in its place, and for $2,200 for the one set of equipment, or $1,200 for the other set, it's super cheap, and it gives you an additional capacity for your telehandlers or for your barrel spikes. I mean, yeah, all in all, and less than not even a quarter of a megabyte to install. I say install this one all day, every day.
I mean, I personally didn't, but I mean, I don't mind loading up a couple. Like I just stack 2 pallets on top of each other and then load it up. So the next one, I got this. So next one's gonna be the high pressure washer steel. This is RE 581. This is by Black Sheep Modding. It is 4.30 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $1,550. They have a horsepower requirement of 5.
So
I love this one.
I mean, if you're looking for a pressure washer, I say install this. Less than 5 megabytes to install. Excuse me. Less than 5 megabytes to install, and it is about almost $3,000 cheaper than the base game Karcher. I mean, it's a good little model. It's kind of blocky. It has that kind of chunky, well built look to it, in my opinion. And Black Sheep Modding makes really good mods. Yeah, like I said, I think that this is pretty solid, and it works very similar to the Kachar and base game. Yeah, I say this is worth installing if you want to save a little extra cash.
Oh yeah. So your next one is going to be the Dirtynator. This is by Yos.
Dirtynator.
The Dirtynator.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. I want to clean. So your downloadable size will be 0.84 megabytes to download. Your price tag will be $2,000.
So this one I installed, but it's a big but. Only because I am a content creator would I even consider installing this. If I was not a content creator, I would never install this ever.
I didn't.
Because it's just one of those where if you're wanting that kind of look and aesthetic, then you can just take your vehicle out to the fields and just get it dirty. But this one here, like I said, as a content creator, really kind of builds that immersion to where you can kind of get your story a little bit deeper. You can take your tractor out. You don't have to spend the time to do the job to make it look the way you want it to look. Kind of thing. And especially if you're setting up a kind of a storyline to where you're like buying older equipment or side of the road equipment, and there it is, and it's dirty, it's mucky and all that stuff, then yeah, this is going to be a good one to install. And for, again, less than a megabyte to install and for $2,000 to buy, it's perfect for storytelling.
On top of it too, the hose on it has a 50-meter reach, so you can go a long ways with it.
Which is really nice.
Yeah. Next one is going to be the Cow Barn 20 by 35. This is by Peisel. This is 16.64 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $115,000, capacity of 120 cows, a daily upkeep of $150 a day. I personally installed this. I personally like it.
So this one is a very nice looking model. I love the brickwork on the outside of it. The interior looks really sharp, and you have the capacity for 120 cows. There's not a single base game one where the capacity to start without adjusting the fencing gives you that much space. So 120 cows right to start. You figure the closest comparable that we have, because I see dairy cows in this, is going to be the Horman Cow Barn Large. That only holds 96 cows. This holds 120. So the one from the Mod Hub is significantly bigger by almost 24 cows right off the bat. And the price, that's where this is going to be a huge game changer, in my opinion. The price for the base game one, the Horman, is $518,500. This is $115,000. And for less than 17 megabytes to install, yes, I would say this is worth a download for the nice appearance, the price savings, the additional cows that you can have in this one. Yeah, all day, every day, install this.
But besides that, too, in the very first screenshot, in the front, you have like an overhang area that you can like put down manure heap, or you can put bales like on the side. But over to the far left, there's actually a hayloft up top. I mean, sure, you're gonna have to get like a ladder or something and open up, and you can throw like small bales in there or whatever, which is super awesome too. So, yeah. Plus, another thing, which Andy Farms was the only person to see this, but on the backside, which is shown in the second picture, where the slurry area is, you can actually open the cover and then close it when you're done. Like simulate like you're getting slurry out. So.
No, that's nice. That's a nice little feature that I always appreciate when the modders put that in. It's again not something that has to be done. It's not something that changes anything or is like that great in the kind of grand scheme of things, but it's those details. Details makes everything, and that's just a detail that yeah, just reinforces what I said earlier of install this all day, every day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. I got it. It's actually one of the very first things I installed. Next one's going to be small new silos. This is by Bartson V3. This is going to be 10.24 megabytes to download. You have several different kind of silos. So you have silo style extension. So you have 18, 24, 30, 36. So basically, yeah, 36,000 liters, 30,000 liters, etc., etc.
So this one here, I actually really like this. The look of it is very appeasing. Less than 11 megabytes to install, and you've got various different sizes that you can install, different extensions, the whole nine yards. It's unique. I definitely like the way it looks. It looks like it's made for kind of the smaller farms that are out there, and you figure even at the largest capacity, the 36,000 liter silo is only $22,000. So if you're looking for a nice, cheap silo system, yeah, I say get this one because it's got a nice little look to it, and you can get it for pretty cheap.
And I feel like that style would look perfect on Zalanka.
Yeah, 100%.
Next one is going to be the Kubota Workshop. This is by The Lort. This is 25.04 megabytes to download. So you have the Kubota sign, which is we have a price tag of $1,000. It's just decoration. And then you have the Kubota Workshop, which is $50,000. You have a maintenance, a daily upkeep of $5. So this right here, an FYI, you can only repair. You can't repaint and sell.
So if you're a Kubota fan, then this is going to be something that's going to catch your interest. I'm kind of indifferent on this particular one. Now, for 26 megabytes to install this one, this is a little bit rich for my blood for what it is. Essentially, it's a repair trigger. At the end of the day, that's what it is. You can get a, kind of a signage and stuff like that, which is nice. But at the end of the day, not something that I'm going to jump all over, just because it's going to be mainly for storyteller or for aesthetics, and 26 megabytes can be used elsewhere.
Right. So next one is going to be Workshop. This is by Razak. This will be 25.29 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $150,000, and you have a daily maintenance or a daily upkeep of $30. And then you can get a solar system for an extra $20,000.
So basically, copy and paste what I said before without having the kind of branding involved. This one again, it looks nice. It's got a good look, and same could be said with the previous one as well. It had a good look to it, and all that. This one has a good look to it as well. It looks customizable. You can add solar panels and stuff. That's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, it's a shed, mainly a repair trigger. And just for 26 megabytes to install, I don't know if it's good enough for what I would want for that kind of a building.
Right. So your next one is going to be Agriculture Fair. This is by Chenben. This is going to be 24.93 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $25,000.
So this is where I kind of go against what I was saying previously. The megabytes is almost 25 megs to install. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is a sell point. That's all this is. But what's nice about this is basically a sell-all sell point. So you can sell pretty much everything that you need from either base game and beyond at this location. I absolutely adore this. I loved it in FS22. I'm going to love it here in FS25. I have installed this, and for 25 grand, it's a bit more expensive, especially compared to the sell-all that we do have now in game. I'm trying to bring it up right now. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, the sell everything is $1,000 for any variation. So this one you're going to install because you want to have that kind of aesthetic appeal to it. You're spending $24,000 more for this, for that aesthetics, but at the end of the day, it's a really nice looking mod. It's got that kind of nice kind of immersion factor to it as well. And I think personally it's worth that a little bit of additional room in order to have not only a sell-all, but to have something that you can also tie into a story as well. Yeah, all in all, I like it. It's worth installing.
Well, but you can also see like where the megabyte storage is coming from though with it. So
Exactly. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I'm so comfortable with saying that I would install this and I have installed this is that yeah, you're basically spending, $24,000 additional that you could be spending somewhere else. You're downloading 25 megabytes to install, but it's you can see where it's all coming from. You can see the details, you can see everything. And again, it gives you that bit of immersion that other sell point may not have. The sell everything has a container and it has just a normal kind of sell plate to it. That's it. There's not really an immersion to it. You can tie it into certain other aspects or parts of a map that may kind of be pre-decorated, but this one will be kind of a centerpiece for you on your map.
Right. Well, 100%. 100%. So your next one is going to be Jarman. Well, Old German Barn Pack. This is by DLS Tynes. Needs 6.35 megabytes to download. So you do have a regular storage shed, which costs $17,500, and you have a daily upkeep of $50. And then you have a sheep barn, which costs $40,000 with a daily upkeep of $50. Now you can only have 8 sheep in here. But
So I really like this model. They look really good. I love the brickwork both on the exterior and the interior. You can see kind of the gray interior brickwork versus the kind of general brick pattern on the exterior, as well as the kind of pleating from the side of the buildings as well. I think this is a wonderful model. You can see it's very highly detailed. It's got multiple levels. It's got stairs. It's got multiple rooms. It's got all that kind of stuff, and it's got other storage as well. Kind of standalone building or overhang kind of style as well. And there's a sheep barn that goes along with it. Yeah, it's only 8 sheep. It's small, but the file size is less than 7 megabytes to install.
right.
All in all, I think that between the size, the price, and the style that you're getting for this, it's not bad, not a bad price, and very highly detailed. I think this is worth a download. And especially if you're playing on a map where the kind of style really kind of jives with this one, again, that's just going to make it just that much better.
Right. So your next one is going to be the 4-bay shed. This is also by the Roughneck Modding Crew. This is 6.87 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $12,500 and a daily upkeep of $100.
So less than 7 megabytes to install. You've got a price tag of 13 grand, less than 13 grand. I mean, it's not that bad. It's got a really big, kind of almost cavernous feel to it. You can fit a one of the small harvesters in it, a couple of tractors, some implements as well. Yeah, I would say this is worth to install if this is the kind of style that you're looking for. Yeah, I would install this.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Just real quick, can I catch up with
Yeah.
the chat just real fast?
Yeah.
Let's see. So we've got Benji. How's it going, Benji? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says good evening, everyone. Good evening, Benji. We got Outlaw says, yo, Benji. Benji says, hey, Outlaw. Taco says, I'm back. Did I miss something? Well, several mods and whatnot, but other than that, we're just kind of chugging along. And that is it.
All right, perfect. Next one is going to be Fuel Tank. This is by LJR Modding. This is 1.03 megabytes to download. You have a capacity of 10,000 liters. You have a price tag of $5,000 and a daily upkeep of 10. I got this only because this is more of like an American style gas tank. So
Yeah, so less than 2 megabytes to install, capacity of 10,000, 5,000 to buy. It's right in line with the kind of pricing that we would expect to see for just the kind of base game ones. But I believe the capacity is about doubled for the price that you get. Base game, small petrol tank, base game 5,000 liters for $5,300. This is $5,000 for 10,000 liters. So you're getting a bigger capacity for a cheaper price. So yeah, this one's really nice, and I love the kind of pump that's on top of it. It makes it, like you said, it's got that American kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's looking for a kind of American styled fuel tank, this is going to be a good one to install.
Oh yeah, 100%. Next one is going to be the irrigation placeable. This is by Perla 196 PQXR. This is 3.97 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $10,000 and you have a daily upkeep of $0 a day. And this is just purely decoration.
So this one here for 4 megabytes, just to have it simulate that water is being sprayed onto the field, although it's a nice decorative touch, is not something that I could see myself installing because I'm personally not into the whole decoration aspect of dressing up the farm myself per se. So I can use that file size somewhere else for something that's might be a little bit more important than the decoration. I tend to want to have a map where the decoration's already there and I can just kind of add to it rather than, this kind of style where it's going to be a kind of overhauling of the kind of aesthetics that's present. Does that make sense?
Oh, I agree 100%. Man, it was a hard pass for me.
Yep.
Next one's be concrete fences. This is by Maca. Macarena. No, I was kidding. This is going to be 8.12 megabytes to download. So your fences itself, like per section, is going to be $100, and then your gates are going to be $1,200, $1,200 if I can read.
So this one here for less than 9 megabytes to install, you got some really good variety on this. You got, straight up brick walls, you got rusty gates, you got colored gates, like the whole 9 yards. It's one of those where it's really nice. It's a nice pack, and for, like I said, less than 9 megabytes to install. If this is kind of the style or aesthetic that you're looking for, you got some options. You got different styles of bricks, you got different gates, the whole 9 yards. So all in all, for less than 9 megabytes, I would install this because it's got kind of a good wide appeal and can be utilized in many different locations, different styles of maps and things like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. So your next one is going to be Old Shed Wood. This is by Farmer 22. It's going to be 0.92 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $8,000 and a daily upkeep of 10.
So this one I absolutely adore. I love this one. Less than a megabyte to install, less than 10 grand to buy. It's cavernous. It's got a very large kind of open framework. It's got lights on the inside. You've got enough space to where you can have not only the small in-game harvester, but you could potentially put in even a larger harvester within reason. It's not going to be massive, not one of the biggest ones, but it's going to be, not just the base game smallest harvester available. But again, 10 grand and less than a megabyte, yeah, I would install this. Absolutely.
All right. And they also took the design from the base game Sawmill.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Now this next one, when I saw this, man, you have no idea. I looked right at Bree and I'm like, this has BDD written all over it. So
You know me too well.
So this is gonna be the automatic shipping of animal products. This is by Camicator. I think it's pronounced it. It's 0.24 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $500. So you can hold up to 5,000 liters internally.
Like I said, Will, you know me too well. Yeah, I love this mod. I absolutely love it. The fact that you have a place now that you can store your eggs, your honey, and your wool is really nice. If you don't want to have a bunch of pallets that are spawned out and on your map, this is going to be a good way to kind of deal with that. And it allows you to be able to put it up like distribution for these products. You can have a shed around each and every one of your specific animals that you want to deal with, or you can have one kind of centrally located around your farm and then take the products to that and then, kind of deal with it from there. I love it. I think that it being less than not even a quarter of a megabyte to install, the look to it, the kind of wood slatting on the sides with the nice little black hinges on it, it just got a really nice look to it. Can be applied to just about any farm pretty easily. And having 5,000 liters of capacity, I mean, you're not going to be holding tons of eggs because you figure the eggs are what, 1,400 liters per pallet or something like that. So you're going to get only like 2 or 3 eggs into this thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're just looking for something to set up like distribution, you don't have to slam a whole bunch in here.
Right. And then, I mean, yes, as we're talking about eggs, this is for chickens, but it also goes for bees for honey and for wool for sheep. So,
Correct.
next one is going to be the mini lime production. This is by Sal Carmen Games. I think that's pronounce it. It's 0.99 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $50,000. You have a daily upkeep of 120. And your capacity for each product is going to be 100,000 liters. And your recipe, I like how they put this in here. So it's 50 water plus 100 stones is 150 lime. So it's an equal thing, which is nice. But it goes along with the base game roofed
So
productions.
this one in particular, I do like it because it's a kind of one-to-one for your lime. But here's the weird thing. If you take a look at the third screenshot and you look down at the bottom right-hand corner at the recipe, 100 stone in, 150 lime out. There is no water. So the description says that there's water in this. And I'm trying to find it here in my very, very long list of, let's see, is it, yeah, okay, here it is. So according to the game itself, I'm installing it right now. Do, 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 do. Okay, so this is weird. So the screenshot says that water is not a part of this, but here in game there is water that's being required. So not sure why the screenshot's showing one thing and the game is showing something different, but it's fine. At the end of the day, water plus stone equals the same amount of lime that's coming out, and I like that. I like that one to one. Most oftentimes when you get a lime production, you get a reduction. Very oftentimes you get a reduction. This is the one where you're going to get kind of the same output.
Right. Well, 100%. Let's see. Next one is going to be the Stone Crusher producing lime. That's supposed to be separate words. So you got Stone Crusher and then producing space lime. This is by Lemmy. Lemmy? What's wrong with you? It's going to be 0.41 megabytes to install. You have a price tag of $12,500. You have a capacity of 7,000 liters. You have a daily upkeep of $1. And the size is 6 meters by 4 meters.
So this one here I installed initially, and it did exactly what I said in the previous one, to where it did the reduction. And it was quite drastic, the reduction, if I remember correctly. So I ended up uninstalling this one because of that. And having the other one, which was, again, it was significantly more expensive than this one. This is only, $12,500. The other one, what did I say, was $50,000, but you're keeping more of your product at the end of the day. So to me, it's worth that additional money being spent out, and the capacities were significantly less. That was the other thing too. The capacity of this is 7,000 compared to the other one we just mentioned, the mini line production, is $100,000 of every single product.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Hard pass.
Yep.
Next one is going to be the Church Schnuffelduff. I can pronounce it. This is by Bernie CS. Bernie SCS. It's 16.85 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $50,000. Well, with a daily upkeep of 0. This is just decoration. So.
Nice looking model, 17 megabytes to install, 50,000 to buy. If you're wanting to place down a church in this kind of style on your map, then this is here for you now. But me personally,
Hard pass.
I'm not gonna install this one.
The next one is going to be the Old Residential Building. This is by Razak. This is going to be 21.32 megabytes to download. So you have two versions. So you have an old house as decoration. Price tag is $200,000 for decoration. Maintenance is $10 a day. And then you have your house, your old house sleeping trailer. This would be $200,000, so the exact same price, exact same daily upkeep as well.
So nice, highly detailed. One of those where doesn't look like you're able to go inside. 22 megabytes to install. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's kind of a style that I wouldn't like personally utilize. For a vast majority of my gameplays, this looks like a very kind of European, maybe even potentially like Eastern European style of housing. Um, yeah, it might work on Sri Lanka or something like that. But me personally, for 22 megabytes to install, $200,000 to purchase, not worth it in my opinion. So I'd pass.
Oh yeah, 100%. Bree, that's so funny just watching her, like, because I'm looking to the mods link come out, and then I go on my Xbox to install them, right? And I'm going through. I'm like, and I click on this building, and she goes, "Oh look, you can't even go inside it." And then she looks at me, and I'm like, "Wow!" With the two thumbs down. And she goes, "Yeah." She knows me so well. Um, let's see. Next one's gonna be Wood Tower. This is by FSPT. This will be 2.10 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $1,000 and a daily upkeep of $1.
So take everything I've said about decorations before that, before this, and apply it to this. But I will say, for less than 3 megabytes and $1,000 to buy, I'm less ardent about this one. I'm less in the realm of okay, this is something I'm gonna hard pass over, and this is one I'd be just a gentle pass.
Right. I mean, it's also nice because if you want to go upstairs and take a screenshot, of a great view, then yeah. But also a reminder for anyone who wants to know, and yes, I am raising my pointer finger for this because I mean it. I don't know if the modder designed it this way, but to be able to go in, you have to crouch, then go in. You can't just walk in. So be very mindful.
So it's possible that that was designed that way, but to me, that sounds like more than likely it was a scaling issue.
Yeah. Let's see. Your next one's gonna be a Fancy Doghouse. This is by Nelu. Love the name. It's gonna be 1.74 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $1,199. Really, you couldn't make it just $2,000 or $1,200.
1,200, yeah.
And a daily upkeep of $5 a day.
So 2 megabytes to install. It's basically decoration for the most part. I mean, it's basically window dressing. $1,200 to buy. I mean, comparing that, what do we got base game? Animals. Okay, so it's actually cheaper than the base game one at $2,500. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a doghouse. It's fancy. It's a fancy doghouse. Soft pass.
There is one special feature with this doghouse.
Come with a blue roof.
It's super dog. Well, no, because of the whole entire fact. I don't know if it's a map error or whatever, but I know I tried it on Riverbend. I tried it on Sri Lanka. I tried it on several different other maps, and it's basically Superman's dog. Like you place it down, and then you put food in a dish, right? Go, and all of a sudden you're like, "Where's the dog?" You look upwards, and he's like flying through the air, and then he slides in the air, and then starts eating food right out of midair. I'm like, yo, it's Super Dog.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Yeah, he'll actually literally curl up and fall asleep while in the air. I'm like, yeah.
That's a talented dog right there.
Now this next one, I love this next one. I actually messaged Roughneck Modding Crew, and I'm like, thank you for bringing this. So this is the A-frame cabin. This is by Roughneck Modding Crew. This is 19.50 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $35,500 and a daily upkeep of $100 a day. This, A, you can go inside of it.
You can go inside. Watch out now.
B, it's like perfect for a starting house. It's small, it's not really that massive, and it looks fantastic.
So this would be a perfect mod for Silver Run Forest, the map they just brought out from Giants.
Yes.
This would fit very, very perfectly in that style of a map. It fit in a lot of different areas, especially like in a wooded area because of all the kind of wood features that are on it. But like you said, it's 20 megabytes to install, $35,000 to buy. I mean, but you get to go into it. So that 20 megabytes to install, it's going somewhere. It's going to details, and I can appreciate that. This is one that I didn't install, but I would install if there was a scenario where I could see where this would kind of, dive into the story kind of thing. But I mean, it's very highly detailed. It looks absolutely fantastic. I love the loft that goes up to the bed. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
The view from the upstairs, from like the windows, looks absolutely fantastic. I so I installed this, right, and I'm gonna go place it down. I walked into it, and then Bree walked out of the kitchen while my dinner. She handed it to me, and she goes, "Oh, look at that nice house." And I was like, "I know, you can go inside of it." She goes, "I want that house. It's so nice."
So I've actually stayed in a very similar style of house to this when I was out in California. I went out to California many, many, many years ago, and my girlfriend at the time and I rented something very similar to this style, and it was a very nice stay. So it really kind of hits the kind of remembrance
Right.
trigger right there. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. So you're going on updates. First one's gonna be New Frontier. This is by Ola Holdor. This will be 124.62 megabytes to download. You have changelog 1.0.2.0. Fixed an issue with map edge collisions. Hidden the AI spline, which was visible in multiplayer only. And fixed various clip distance issues.
So, as I mentioned before, this map is about middle of the pack, maybe a little bit higher than middle of the pack, to about above average. For me personally, the update that came out was more of the kind of aesthetics, kind of housekeeping kind of updates. The one thing that really confused me about this map and still does to this day is the multiple versions of it. There's at least three separate versions of this map. You know, farmland sizes change and a forestry version of it, which out of all three of them, I would do the forestry version, personally. Just kind of feels more kind of homey feeling, if that makes sense. I don't know. It just something about it that personally wasn't too appealing to me, and a lot of it you can see actually in this screenshot here, where the sell point is at the farmers market. There's basically that plunking effect that I tend to say very much. But what I mean by that is you basically have the farmers market right in the middle of this concrete pad, a windmill in the back, a warehouse in the bottom left-hand corner, and it just feels like there's not much else. It just feels like boom, it's there, boom, that's there, boom, that's there, and there you go.
Right. Yeah, I passed on this map. Like, one of the nice features about this map, though, is that when it rains, you can actually get stuck in the mud. It's like the one nice feature about it. Next one is going to be the...
No,
what's up?
just real quick, but before we pass on this, the one thing I will say is that this appears to be kind of the beginning of the newest version of quote-unquote No Man's Land. As far as I'm aware, No Man's Land is not making a return here in FS25, and this is kind of the stab at its successor, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, if you like that kind of style map, then by all means go for it. I mean, for me, it's a pass, but next one is gonna be the Mammut Silo Compaction Pack. This is by ADA or Agribusiness Design Austria. This is gonna be a 10.41 megabytes to download. And your changelog is gonna be changelog 1.0.0.1 fixed missing L10N error. Or whatever it is.
No idea what that means, but if you're looking for silage compaction, less than 10 megabytes, less than 11 megabytes to install, a little bit high for what it is. And for me personally, I don't do this much silo compaction to make a mod like this kind of necessary. But if you're a Mammoth fan, then this might be something for you. Me personally, not worth it.
Right, right. Next one is going to be the Kessler Forestry Pack. This is by HR Forest. I'm not going to say that last name because I can never pronounce it. This is going to be 29.09 megabytes to download, and your changelog is going to be changelog 1.0.0.1. Fixed animation error after patch 1.6 that prevented the server from being used again after purchase.
Oof. So that's a pretty big update.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, this one extremely disappointed me. Extremely disappointed me. I installed this when it first came out, and I was really excited about it because there's specifically a line in here that really kind of got me excited. And it was the harvester heads simplified, and it says, "King controls with tree detection." With tree detection. Let me emphasize that one more time. Tree detection. There's no tree detection. So, yeah, needless to say, the reason that I really liked it is because this basically is a 3-point link attachable tree harvester.
Right.
Is at the end of the day what it is. And having tree detection on a 3-point link tree harvester and having it be $45,000 as opposed to, oh, I don't know, what's the cheapest in-game harvester? We got the Komatsu 951 for $449,000. I mean, yeah, I mean, 45 grand versus, $400,000 extra for a self-propelled Komatsu. Yeah, I would have loved to have had this all day, every day. But even with the 30 megabytes to install, but the fact that it was missing that tree detection, it was not working, and that might be an update later, maybe. And if that's the case, then I will absolutely jump on this once again. But for right now, that disappointed me severely.
I'm not big into forestry, so that's a hard pass for me. But the next one is going to be the Coulter Rail and Bar. This is by Polly Paul. This is 2.46 megabytes to download. Your changelog 1.0.0.1. Configurations improved. Link balls adjusted. And mouse control added.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is essentially a weight and is mainly decoration. Hard pass for me.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Now, when this update came out,
Yes.
I didn't even have to say a single thing because Bree saw it and she goes, "Oh, that looks like something BDD would use."
How does your wife know me this well?
No, because she's seen your content. Because she's seen me watch you when you go live and use stuff like this, and she knows for a fact I would never use something like this. So, so this is the Lizard TARDIS by Omatana, which this has a 4.8 star rating by 2,200 people, but this is 43.24 megabytes to download. Now you have change 1.1.0.0. Color selection for all devices or all things. Manure and digestate in the liquid tank. Combine harvester with color selection and optional realistic and unrealistic capacity, including suitable headers.
I love this one. I absolutely love this one. You and your wife know me too well. For 44 megabytes to install, You get so many different options. You get a forage wagon, you get trailers, you get the harvester, you get a water tanker that also doubles down as a other liquids tanker as well. So it's not just water. But now we have the ability to customize the colors and do all that kind of stuff and have all this additional functionality. I love this, especially as a content creator. I look for things that will, kind of help me in the background. And this thing is dirt cheap at all levels, including the harvester. You figure the harvester is what? Let me find it. Let me find it. Let me find it. Okay, there it is. Less than 100 grand. Less than 100 grand, so which means that you can lease this for super cheap. It has 200,000 liter capacity. Really, really nice. And the best part about all this is not only does it have a grain header, not only does it have a corn header, or sunflower header, it also has a poplar header. So that right there is absolutely huge, in my opinion. It just kind of gives you that kind of trifecta of multi-purpose and use that I absolutely adore. Absolutely love this mod. Omatana did a fantastic job, and now that we have the ability to kind of customize the colors and make it kind of, really something that can fit in around the farm rather than that kind of dark blue that the original kind of base game stuff, or not base game, but base mod had. Yeah, it's going to be, very welcome addition behind the scenes for me.
So your next one's going to be the water distributor. This is by D3R Joe Low, whatever it is. It's going to be 0.53 megabytes to download, and you have a changelog of 1.0.0.1 fixed collisions.
Love this mod. Next.
Next one is going to be the fruit greenhouse. This is by MTL Modding Team. This is going to be a 6.42 megabytes to download. And then you have you have changelog 1.1.0.0. There are now two greenhouses, a fast one and a slow one. The fast one, as you know, with more volume and everything. In the slow greenhouse, everything has been scaled up to a real size. It also says mod description adjusted and fix some small bugs.
So again, this is another one that I really love. If you are not wanting to do grapes or olives like the kind of standard practices, this is one that you can actually put in the, what is it? I think it's seeds and herbicide and water, fertilizer, and you can get those products out. But you can also do green beans, peas, and spinach. So the kind of new additional base game kind of productions on top of the grapes and olives. So this one in particular, I love it specifically for the grapes and olives because I don't know too many people who were really impressed with the grapes and olives when it came out for FS22. I'm still not impressed with it personally. It's a very hyper specific kind of production. It requires all sorts of very specialized equipment, and the ability to do it is very, very difficult. You get hung up on them all the time. It's a real nuisance for me personally. I would much rather clear cut an entire map full of trees rather than doing even one row of grapes.
Right. And now since they added a fast version besides the slow version. So your next one is going to be an update to the JCB Agri Loadout. This is by Ross and Mods. This is going to be 17.98 megabytes to download. And your changelog will be changelog 1.0.0.1 fixed flickering window.
So I like this mod. For less than 18 megabytes, you get a nice looking telehandler, JCB. I mean, really, I don't have a big brand loyalty to JCB, so would I install this? Not in particular, because we already got ones in base game that are just as suited for the job.
It's very highly detailed for a mod, too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and the 18 megabytes to install is not terrible,
Right.
but it's one of those, like I said, unless you got a big brand loyalty. For me
Right.
personally, I just don't. I'll go with one of the other
Right.
telehandlers, whether Manitou, the Cinnabogan, Fent, Merlot.
Right. Right. I got you. I got you. So your next one's going to be the multi-fruit farm storage. This is by Antics. This would be 2.88 megabytes to download, and you have a change log of 1.0.0.1, added possibility to store slurry and digestate, and free rotation when placing down.
Love this mod. Absolutely love it. It's nice little storage shed for all of your pretty much everything that you could produce on the game itself, whether it's bales, pallets, loose crops, the whole nine yards. This basically does it all. Love this mod. Absolutely love it. And now you can store slurry and digestate as well as your other stuff, and do a free rotation on it as opposed to it snapping at certain intervals. Absolutely love it.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Now we're moving on to Thursday mods. So this is going to be the vehicle shed. This is by Dithmistershire modding. I think it's how you pronounce it. No idea. This is going to be 3.25 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $120,000 and a daily upkeep of $25 a day.
Very large shed. $120,000 is a very expensive. Less than 4 megabytes to install is not that bad. At the end of the day, probably not going to be one that I would install just because, although it does have a really nice style. I do like how it kind of has that gentle rise up with the wood trusses on the inside, the outside, rather, I won't say plain, but, two garage bay doors with the concrete basin and the kind of slatted sides. Yeah, I mean, it looks nice, but probably not one that I would install just because of the price, 120 grand.
On top of it, too, you can't change the color. So if you like red, then you like red. If not, oh well.
Exactly.
Next one is going to be the Strawman Aperion 3401. This is by Grobflacken Design, Simon. I love that name, Grobflacken Design.
What'd you call me?
So the size is going to be 9.25 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $90,500 and a capacity of 52,000 liters.
So the closest thing that we have for capacity wise is going to be the Bergman Shuttle 490S as 49,500 liters of capacity, to where this has $52,000. Now here's the thing. 9.25 megabytes to install, that's not a bad install. But the price. Holy smokes. The Bergman base game, $165,000 and 300 horsepower to tug it around. This, $90,500. You are saving a ton of money. Well over $50,000. Almost $60,000. No. Almost $70,000 to get this one. And you're getting a bigger capacity by almost 2,500 liters of capacity. So way less expensive and bigger capacity. This one is an absolute install.
Oh yeah. Next one is going to be the Strawman Megon or Megnon 530. This is also by Groflacken Design. Simon, I'm sorry, I just love saying that.
Bless you.
Go fucking design. The size is gonna be 30.32 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $132,500. You have a power requirement of 300 horsepower. You have a capacity of 50,000 liters and 10 liters of your solid additive.
So copy and paste exactly what I said with the previous one. The Bergman, again, 165,000. This is 132,500. So you are getting 500 liters more capacity, and you're spending about $30,000 less for this one as opposed to the Bergman. So again, I would install this one. Now the amount of the file size is significantly higher at 30.32
Yeah.
megabytes to install. So that's kind of the downside for this one, but very highly detailed. It
Oh
looks
yeah.
really good. Um, yeah, so it's one of those where, yeah, you're gonna be kind of doing an exchange there to where you're saving $30 as opposed to the Bergman. You're getting the same power requirements, you're getting the same kind of almost the same capacity, but you're saving 30 grand, but you're getting 30 megabytes. Is it worth it? It's gonna be up to the individual.
It's also gonna be whether or not you apps are in love with Strawman or not.
Yeah. To whereas the last one, like I would install the last one, the Aperion,
Yeah.
simply because of the vast outweighing of differences between the prices and the capacities. The capacity was significantly more, and the cost was significantly less. This one is less of a radical adjustment as opposed to the last one.
Right.
So one of those where I would install the I would install the last one all day, all night. This one, I'm kind of tipsy back and forth. And again, the file size on the last one was less than 10 megabytes to install that one, to where this one is three times that.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah,
Hard pass.
yeah.
There. Next one is gonna be Self-Made Forest Trailer. This is by Michael LS. This is gonna be 1.13 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $1,000.
So, if you're looking for a small little trailer for $1,000 to haul your lumber around in, this is gonna be a good one. Less than 2 megabytes to install. It's got a nice little aesthetic look to it. It has that homemade kind of a look to it. Um, yeah, I would install this absolutely for kind of a starting out, especially if you're doing like a start from scratch. This would be right up your alley.
Oh yeah. 100%. So here, next one is going to be the Lizard Bag Lift, or Big Bag Lift. This is by EED123. This is going to be 3.01 megabytes to download and a price tag of $2,000.
For less than 4 megabytes and 2 grand, really it's going to go down to the person who wants to potentially use this. It's a 3 point attachable hook lift not trailer, hook lift bag lifter. It's one of those, if you use big bags and if you want to kind of have this kind of a look and aesthetic and use this kind of tool, then it's not going to be bad overall.
Right.
Price wise, cheap. Installation size, not bad. Yeah, it's one of those that if this was something that I was kind of looking for, kind of aesthetics wise and use case, I would install this most certainly. Me personally, I'm not going to, simply because, again, I can use that megabyte somewhere else, and it's not really something that I tend to use a lot with big bags. I tend to just drive up next to them and have them auto load in.
Right. Now this next one, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is something that has BDD's name written all over it too. This is
You know me too well.
this is storage rack. This is by Die Landier. That's a horrible name, but okay. Yeah. It's gonna be 1.
Sounds rude.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be 1.20 megabytes to download. Now you do have a yeah, you have a big rack and a small rack. So it's gonna be for the big rack $4,000 price tag, and then for the small one price tag of $3,500. So
So, other than the kind of aesthetics of it, the blue on orange, I love it. I absolutely love it. It works as a nice little pallet storage to where you can just keep all your stuff kind of neat and organized. And again, for us console players, it's not going to feed into that whole slot space or the palette space that you're limited to on your game.
Right.
So if you're wanting to make sure that you're kind of keeping your file sizes clean and your game saves clean, something like this is a good option while keeping things kind of tucked away in the background, quote unquote.
right. So you're not. Next one is going to be the Madara Agro Princess. You want a princess on your farm? This is going to be by EED123. This is going to be 26.55 megabytes to download. Now for this, it does come with. Now I'm not going to read off these price tags and horsepower requirements, but basically you have a 4 meter and a 5 meter. Those are both 3 point, and then you have a 5 meter and a 6 meter, which is going to be one of them is a 3 point and one of them is trailed. So
So for this one, I'm really gutted about. I don't often use disc arrows, but when looking at the kind of closest comparable, the closest one that we have is the Vaterstat Carrier XL 625. 75,000 to purchase that particular set of equipment and 260 horsepower to lug it around. So, on this whole pack, the closest one is the 6 meter at 180 horsepower as opposed to 260, and 36,000 to buy as opposed to 75,000 for the base game. So you're getting a almost as large working with for half the price, almost half the horsepower. I mean, it's a nice looking mod, nice looking model, but that file size though, at 27 megabytes to install, because it has all four the same equipment all in the same thing, it's just different sizes. I can't. I would love to have this in, but for almost 30 megabytes, I am just not going to. I'm just going to stick with the base game stuff.
no, I did talk to ED123. He stated that he wanted to bring all these separate, but Giants preferred them in a pack, so he had to put them all in a pack.
Oh, for sure. And look, I don't blame any of the modders for packing these together or anything like that. I know that Giants has been really kind of wanting these kind of like lumped together so that it makes it a bit easier for them and they can get through more mods faster. It's just extremely devastating for us console players when you take all of this stuff into account. Like I said, this is something that I don't personally use a lot, but I could see people using this. And I mean, all of these are significantly better pricing than anything we have base game. You figure the smallest version of this is 4 meter working with is $25,000. The next closest one we have that's smaller is the Noach Crossmax 300 for $9,000. So yeah, you're spending quite a bit more for the smallest version, but you're getting a full meter larger. I mean, just the range that you get here is I think better than the starting range that you get base game. So I would have loved to have seen these individually, but I understand as well.
Now this next one I wasn't sure about, and then I know you and I were having a conversation about this. I know you like it. I know you like this one, but this is the Industrial Sawmill. This is by GMNG Joy or Gaming Joy.
Gaming Joy Josh.
This is me 30.04 megabytes to download.
I love this one. I absolutely love this one, and here's why. This has the ability to intake wood, which, hey, it's a sawmill. Who would have saw that coming? But I know. But here's the kicker on this one. We look at this particular screenshot. It's the final screenshot here at the very end. You see wood in, but it also has wood out as a output product, which means that you can actually take this and set it up as a distribution center for your wood. If you want to have this placed down on one part of the map, but you have a sawmill somewhere else, you can just be shipping to the main sawmill or whatever you want to do. You can use this as your own transport. Love that. Absolutely love it. So yeah, it's one of those that it's a nice low profile sawmill. You can just rip through stuff, and it's got a nice little additional feature as well, because there's two separate styles in here. There's multiple styles, but the one in particular that I'm talking about has a automatic unload or automatic load feature and a manual load feature. So the manual load feature is when you go in and you click that little icon to ingest or intake the wood. After you click that icon, the automatic is one where you just literally drive over the sell point and it just auto grabs the tree.
Yeah. Yeah. let's see here. Love this mod. Uh, so this is me the John Deere S700 series combines. This is by custom modding. It's gonna be 82.71 megabytes to download.
So looking at the kind of base game comparables, we've got the closest one I can see. You know what? Let's go with the smallest one because that'll be easier to find. Is 10,000 liter capacity. So about the closest is going to be the Case Axle Flow 7150. The Case has 449 horsepower. This starts out at 333, so you're getting a less powerful machine. Storage capacity of the Case is 10,570. The base one is 10,600, so you get about 30 liters more with the John Deere here. But the prices. The prices. The Case starts out at 301,000. This starts out at 591,000. That's a huge difference right there. Huge difference. And almost 83 megabytes to install. 83 megabytes. It's a insanely highly detailed mod. The fact that you can lift up the sidings to see all the kind of inner, connected belts and
Yeah.
pulleys and all that stuff is fantastic. Custom mod makes absolutely fantastic looking models. Absolutely love this one. But at the end of the day, it is way too rich for my blood, and for the price that you're going to buy it, you can get a base game comparable in the Case, or to kind of go towards the top end a little bit, we can get the Case AF11. The capacity is 20,000. The largest capacity available here is 24,667. That right there, I mean, yeah, about 4,000 liters more. 543 horsepower for the John Deere versus 775 horsepower for the Case. I don't know what kind of price the large capacity is for the John Deere, but $740,000 for the large Case tractor or Case harvester. I mean, you're getting more horsepower, which means you can handle bigger headers and the whole 9 yards as opposed to this one. I mean, personally, the 4,000 liters, unless you're going to be spending significantly less money for this when you account for the download size, not worth it in my opinion, unfortunately. Very, very unfortunately, because it's a beautiful model.
And I absolutely love it. I guess. So yeah, the next one is going to be the SRW 800 Stone Windrower. This is by Bartson V3. This is going to be 3.96 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $4,000. You're working with of 2.5 meters, 2.5 meters, and a minimum power requirement of 20.
So I like this one in theory. Now, I haven't tried this out yet in this version of the game, but the reason I say I like this in theory is I loved this, again, in theory back in 22, because this is a remodel from 22. So what this does is that this, instead of harvesting the stones from the ground and, puts it into a basket or puts into a bucket like the stone pickers that we are used to do, this one just kind of spits it out from the ground and leaves it there so you can come by with a bucket or you can come by with whatever to be able to pick it up later. Now, the reason I say that I like this in theory is because in 22, this would not work with a worker. I've not tried this and see if it works with a worker here in 25. If it works with a worker, then I'll absolutely love this. And we'll install this all day, all night for less than 4 megabytes to install. It's a different way of going about doing things, and I like that. But it also specifically says that it works on small and medium-sized rocks. So if this doesn't work on large rocks as well, that's going to be a problem as well. So there's going to be some testing. Yeah, okay. So yeah, if it doesn't work on large rocks, then that one kind of is a disappointment for me personally. I understand that that's more of like the realism kind of perspective. It's not going to work like that for real life, and thus it's not going to work here in game. Like I said, I think it's a nice, different way of doing things, but there's too many potential what ifs.
Right. Man, for me, it was a hard pass. So your next one is going to be the Horsch Toronto 3.5 FX. This is by Flav Modding. This is going to be 4 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $19,500. You have a power requirement of 163 horsepower. And then you have working with a 3.5 meters, so 3.5 meters.
So this one here is kind of an in-betweensy between the Noche Eco Cultivator 300 versus the Amazon Senio 4000 Super. This is a 3.5 working with. Those are 3 and 4 meter respectively. So it's literally right in the middle of both of those sizes. 19,500 for this one on the Mod Hub versus 16,000 for the 3 meter and 24,500 for the 4 meter. So this is literally right there in the middle. So if you're looking for something to kind of split the baby kind of thing and 4 megabytes to install, this is worth it.
I mean, it is a 3.5 meter, but it's not a 3 meter. So
It's not a 3 meter, so it does not count.
Exactly. Next one is going to be Package Mega Silo. This is by Lost Gamer. 21.30 megabytes to download. It does come with 4 different silos. So it ranges between 80,000, 150,000, 200,000, and 250,000. And it goes between 1 million, 4 million, 6 million, and 10 million liters.
So this one I'm kind of torn on. The 22 megabytes is not that bad considering you got 4 separate silos and one of them has a 10 million liter capacity, $250,000 to purchase the big one, 80,000 for the small one, and that's a million liters. Now here's why I'm kind of torn on this. It's definitely got a very specific style to it, and based on what I'm seeing from the screenshots, it's got these kind of color coordinations that kind of indicate which one is which. I don't know if that's the same as in game or if that's customizable or not. Does it say that its main color is configurable? Okay, so if that's the case, if the main colors are configurable, then I withdraw that last statement. But this is very much a style of a kind of South American silo system that is not really going to fit too many other styles of maps that are not South American style.
Right.
So for me personally, this is going to be a hard pass, even though the megabytes isn't that bad. The storage capacities are really good. The prices are a little up there, but for what you're getting, it's not that terrible.
Right.
Yeah, all in all, I'm definitely going to pass just because of the style and that it's going to very much fit in at very specific locations.
Right. 100%. So your next one is going to be the Summers Diamond Disc DT2510. This is by BC Bueller. It'll be 12.02 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $60,000. Work width of 10.1 meters. You have a horsepower requirement of 300.
So this one here, closest comparable we have in game is the Farmet Softer 11 PS. The required horsepower for the Farmet is 330. This one is 300. The price for the Farmet is 95,000. This is 60,000. The working width for the Farmet is 10.5. This is 10.1. So cheaper, less horsepower, slightly smaller working width, and the install size 12.2 or 12.02. Not a bad file size. Yeah, I would say get this one. Absolutely.
I love it. I absolutely do. I already have it. Next one is going to be the Joskin TR 270C3. This is by Dyson's Agri and Tommy, or Tommy. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that's going to be a 15.61 megabytes to download. You have a working width of 2.8 meters. You have a price tag of $7,200 and a horsepower requirement of 75.
So the closest in-game comparable is the Noche Speedmax 300. $11,000 to buy. This is 7,200, so it's cheaper. The working width is 3 for the Speedmax. This one here is
2.8.
2.8. Thank you. So 0.2 meters smaller, but you're spending about 3 grand less, a little bit more than 3 grand less. So all in all, that's a pretty nice, kind of trade-off. Now the problem is the file size, 16 megabytes to install for a small mulcher, for practically a 3 meter mulcher. For me, hard pass.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Oh, my mouse pad's slipping. Yeah, get back here.
Uh-oh.
Wait. Next one is gonna be the lizard, Mo- Moshka Duo. This is by Dyson's Agri. This is gonna be
You
8.
gotta stop calling me names. I don't appreciate it, sir.
I'm not calling you anything. What are you talking about? This is gonna be 8.63 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $7,800. You're working with 18 meters.
So I really like this one. Personally, I really, really like this one. Now, the reason that I like this one is that this is a attachment to the back of your slurry tankers. And what it'll do is it'll spread out your slurry to 18 meters for 7,800 bucks. That's really, really not that bad. Now, the closest thing that we have in game, there's really nothing that's really close to this. You can kind of get something similar to it, like for the Farm Tech for 31,500, but this is a separate attachment. So really, about the closest comparable that we have would be something like the Bomec multi-profi, which is the kind of drip
Drip hose.
yeah, like the drip hoses and stuff that's attachable. Now those are 21 meters for $70,000. This is and it's spreading out to 21 meters. This is 18 meters for less than 10 grand. So that's kind of a apples to apples, comparison, for the most part. So for 4 meters less working width, you can attach this to the back of a trailer and you're good to go. So you can get like the Coeco Profi 2 for 60,000, add this for another 7,800 as opposed to the other drip hoses for another 70,000, which would make the trailer all in almost $140,000 as opposed to, 70,000. So for me personally, for less than 9 megabytes to install, I would install this if I'm doing slurry spreading all day, every day.
Now I do like this. Wrong, because that was very nice. I'm just not a big fan of like the type of thing.
The sprinkler
Yeah,
effect, yeah.
Let's see. Next one is gonna be Storage Shed. This is by DMI 20mm Normandy. This is gonna be 5.16 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $125,000, a daily upkeep of 45, and the storage shed pack contains 2 sheds, stalling 2 doors, 18 by 25.
Their sheds, I don't really have a strong opinion outside of the megabytes is only not even 6 megabytes to install. 125,000 is a bit expensive, but I mean, it'd probably be right in line to what would be like considered real life. I mean, it's a shed. If it fits your style, then absolutely install it. But again, DMI, they tend to focus very much on the kind of Dutch. I mean, hence Dutch Modding Company or Dutch Modding Incorporated is the DMI. So they tend to kind of stick to a very specific style, which unfortunately we really don't have a Dutch style map at the moment.
Right.
So a lot of the stuff they've come out with up until this point really doesn't fit anywhere.
Right.
That's going to change. That's absolutely going to change. But for right now, it's just not something that I would install personally.
Me either. For me, that's a hard pass.
Yep.
Next one is going to be the Lizard Until Attached. This is by NMC T-Bone. This is
North Modding Company.
Yep. This is 1.27 megabytes to download, and you have a price tag of $3,050. Now, this I think is really neat.
I absolutely love this. It is essentially a twistable head for your attachments on your wheel loaders. So you can sit there and put it in front of your specific tools that you're using and be able to rotate it on the what would that be? That would be on the y-axis.
Yeah.
No, y-axis is up and down, so it'd be on the x-axis.
Oh yeah.
Kind of the you'd be able to rotate it on in that plane. So it's one of those where it's going to have a specific use case, but for less than 2 megabytes to install, less than $4,000 to buy, I mean, it's not going to take up a lot of space, and you can eventually use this to do something. And really, what it's mainly used for is to kind of for like real life. When you're driving around with your palleted goods on a very hilly terrain, you can see in this screenshot here, you're supposed to use it to keep the equipment or the pallet level, and even though your equipment may not be level. That's essentially what it's used for, but you can figure out other uses for it.
Right.
Perfect example is that for Silver Run Forest, when I did my series on that, I had 2 of these daisy chained in front of the wheel loader that I had, and I had the tree grips, the tree grapple or whatever it's called, and I would take a whole bunch of logs, lift them up in the air, turn them horizontally so they're facing up and down, and then I would drop them into the shredder or into the wood chipper that was built on the map, like base game kind of thing. It worked perfectly to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's a very unique mod.
Yep.
So your next one is going to be the Lizard Spider 360. This is by Presmec 23433. This will be 6.04 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $9,000. You have a horsepower requirement of 35 and a working width of 3.6 meters.
Hard pass. Hard pass on this one. Here's why. 7 megabytes to install, not a big deal. $9,000 doesn't sound too expensive. 3.6 meters working with, again, that's not too bad for the amount you're paying. Until you realize this. Base game K-brand GA4731. Price, $9,000. Exact same. Working with, 4.7 meters. Significantly larger. Almost a full meter, or more than a full meter larger than this mod. For that, and that reason alone, hard pass.
It's almost a 3 meter. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Silver Run Forest by Giant Software. 1,358.17 megabytes to download, or AKA 1.3 gigs. And it requires 2 months.
Yeah. Where do I begin?
I say we
Do I
skip.
begin with the Do I begin with the 1.3 gigs worth of space? 1/8 of our storage size here on consoles, 1/8 dedicated to one map. Are you absolutely kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? 1/8 of your file size dedicated to one map. Now, don't get me wrong. This is a gorgeous map. It's absolutely beautiful, and just like it was in 22. But it has 2 required mods, and both of those are extremely high by themselves as well. So you're taking more than 1/8 of your entire disk space for one map and its required mods. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? And it's a forestry map. So if you have If you are not a forced kind of person, this is nowhere anywhere close to being okay.
Right.
This one is a such a swing and a miss that I felt the breeze from the other side of the world. I'm sorry, but this one really upset me when it first came out. When this first came out and I saw that it was over a gig to install,
I send it to
like, oh my, yeah, yeah. This one really bothered me. Now, again, gorgeous map. Giants does not disappoint when it comes to beauty.
Oh,
They
yeah.
make some amazingly beautiful maps. But there's also some issues. It seemed like, and this might be just me, I just cannot put my finger on it. It seems like something's missing from the 22 version. And I think part of it was the containers that we had as part of the premium edition or platinum edition DLC. Not having those containers so you can like auto load wood into, that was a big one for me. Not having the ability to just have that is again just a huge disappointment. Not having that already here in base game. I don't know. It seemed like there was some key aesthetics missing from this version that was there in 22, and I cannot put my fingers on what those are. Mainly not having to dedicate 1/8 of my system space. Holy smokes. I cannot believe this, and makes me so nervous, so incredibly nervous for the next quote unquote free map that we get from Giants here in the next couple of weeks.
You know, as we were at 1.3 gigs, that's
1.3 gigs! 1.3!
that is the size of a 4x map. I'm just putting that.
Yes! 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 Like, I know I'm sounding like really kind of amped up about this, and I really am amped up about this, but 1.3 gigs. Holy smokes. Like, please, if there's anybody out there listening to this right now and you're on console, is this something that you would install? Is this something that you would actually go out and be like, let me install this and let me like have hours upon hours of fun on this? Like,
I didn't even get it on my PC. You know?
and you don't have to worry about file size.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about it whatsoever, it being a PC player. Like, I know that I'm hyper fixed on this specific thing about the file size, but it's because I am a console player. And any but other console player out there is right now just... I would imagine this is just a collective, you know, kind of coming together of, yes, preach, brother, preach. Like 1.3 gigabytes, 1.3.
Well, when I saw that, I literally almost vomited. Cause I'm like, this is the size of a 4x map.
Yes.
Okay.
Now again, you can see where all the like. Don't get me wrong. I want to emphasize this. Giants made a gorgeous map, and I can see where the 1.3 is coming from. I genuinely can. But 1.3, 1.3.
Well, besides that too, it's got a 4.2 star rating by 373 people.
And it deserves it. It deserves a 4.2. It really does. I'm dead serious about this. It's a gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful map. It really is. But 1.3? 1.3.
Okay, let's move on.
Let's move on.
So
1.3.
1.3. Giants, I'm sorry, but you suck. No, I was kidding.
Okay. Hold on. One more thing is because I am moving on. I promise you, I'm technically moving on. The Volvo pack. The freaking Volvo pack.
Well, we're talking about that right now, so
I know.
Because you got the Volvo pack by Giant Software. It's 114.51 megabytes to download. Now, me personally, I absolutely love this. Because I use a lot of this stuff in FS22. But...
No. 0.3. Plus 114.51 megabytes to install this. and it's required. It's required for the other map. So you're already building on top of it. So I'm sorry, I'm going to be a little bit pedantic here. 1,358.17. So 1,358 plus 100. So you're talking 1,400 and some change plus the next one. Plus the next one. So you're talking almost 1,500 megabytes
By the way,
to play one map.
well, in that Volvo pack, there's actually 6 vehicles, and I think there's 3 or 4 attachments that come in it. Oh, but
And again, they're highly detailed. They look amazing. Giants did a fantastic job. I'm not taking anything away from them whatsoever. This was far better suited as a base game map than it ever can be as a modded map for us console players. 100%. This should have been a base game and not taking up file size for our mod hub.
moving on to the other one, the Komatsu Harvester 911. I'm not going to say that full thing because that sounds awful.
1.3!
You got the giant software. It's 37.12 megabytes to download. You have a base price of $375,000 and a horsepower requirement of 228.
Okay. Let me do my due diligence. Closest base gaming, closest base one. Okay.
I think
Breathe. Breathe.
I'm not gonna lie. This is pretty awesome because the 4 tracks. It's like a quad track.
I do like. Look, again, Giants makes awesome mods. They look amazing. I'm not taking anything away from them. Base game that we have that's comparable is the Komatsu 951. That does a working width of 70 centimeters. So the tree size is 70 centimeters. This one doesn't list that out. 228 horsepower for the mod. The base game is 291. This is 375 horsepower. The base game is 449. I'm sorry, $375,000 versus 449. You can tell I'm this flustered. I'm this frustrated with this one.
1.3.
So, 1.3. Anyways. Trying. I'm trying.
All right, let's move on.
So you're spending more. You're getting potentially a little bit more working with. I don't know what the working with is for this specific mod, but if it's even close to the 70 centimeters, then 40 megabytes almost to install. It's gonna be a little rich, but you can see the details. You can see where it's all coming from. This model by itself, I can see installing for myself. But it depends on the working with. If you're talking like this can only handle 40 centimeters and is like $100,000 cheaper, not going to be worth it. But if this goes to like 60 centimeters, then this is a good starter, quote unquote, harvester.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. 1.3.
1.3. So the next one is going to be the Schwarzmüller Semi-Low Loader 3A. This is also by Giant Software. This is 14.88 megabytes to download and a price tag of $64,000, which this one has a nice party trick because it can actually extend.
So this is the base model that we got from the containers. So this is, I saw this when this first came out on the mod hub, and I was excited. I was like, oh, this might mean that we're getting containers. I really thought like, oh, this is like the beginning of the containers. I was really excited. No containers. Giants, you're just
No containers, but you give us
no containers.
1.3.
1.3. And 15 megabytes to install this. The closest one that we have here, base game already, is going to be, I'm going to say the Brant. Yeah, close. I mean, it's not really, you know what? The Load King is probably the closest one. The Load King 59,500. This is 64,000. You're spending more. You're getting about the same style and of trailer and all that. Three-wheel trailer versus three-wheel trailer. I'm gonna stick with the Load King base game as opposed to spending the 15 megabytes plus 1.3. Let's move on.
All right, so we got an update for the AGCO Ideal Pack from Giant Software. This is 72.6 got 72.63 megabytes of download. So you got changelog 1.0.0.1. Got an adjusted visual model, adjusted colors, and updated Massey Ferguson logo.
I desperately need the old Simpsons episode of Sideshow Bob stepping on the rakes every 2 seconds, going from one to the next and go, hey, hey, hey. I desperately need that right now because that's what I feel like these past 4 mods have been, is just stepping on the rake, stepping on the rake, stepping on the rake. Again, beautiful model, beautiful mod. Giants makes that amazing stuff. 73 megabytes to install. Oh my goodness. Again, closest comparable. 1.3. 1.3. 451 horsepower. So the closest comparable would be the case. 17,000 17,000 liters. The closest thing to that would probably be okay. So this one's really weird. This one is really weird. The AGCO Ideal T is kind of in its league of its own, because the base capacity is 17,000 for $484,000. The closest one is the Kloss at 18,000 liters, but it's $653,000 for this one. Now, base horsepower is 700. This one is 451. So you get a much higher capacity, a far less power, so you're not going to have the better working width for the capacity that you're doing. So you're taking more passes. I mean, it's one of those where this, again, I would love to install this, but almost 80 megabytes to install it. You've got what, 2 different harvesters. You got multiple headers, 3 headers. It looks like. It's nice. It's really nice, but I cannot justify 80 megabytes to install it when we have so much variety of of harvesters here already base game.
Well, and besides that too, but they also adjusted the visual model to make it look better. They adjusted the colors and updated the Massey Ferguson logo. So, all right, let's move on. 1.3.
1.3.
That's gonna be a trend now. So the next one's gonna be the FarmCon 24 Fent Pack by Giant Software. This is gonna be 51.41 megabytes to download. Changelog 1.0.0.1, fixed dashboard sliders and adjusted front loaders.
So when this one came out, this was way too niche for me. Way too niche. Now don't get me wrong. This is a really cool looking model. It's got some personality to it. I do like it. But 51.41 megabytes to install. No. 1.3. No. I'm sorry, but Giants, the models are amazing. I'm not taking anything. I keep emphasizing this, but there is such a thing as disk space for us. And if we didn't have the limits, then everything I would be saying right now would be up in smoke. I wouldn't be complaining at all. There would be nothing coming from me. If I could dedicate my entire terabyte worth of disk space to Farming Simulator, I would be a happy camper and I wouldn't complain whatsoever. I would not complain at all. I would install Silver Run just to have it there, not even to play it, just to have it there, just so I can have a trophy on my mantle of 1.3. Just so I can do that. And it'd be the same thing for this. I might not ever use this model, but it is such an interesting looking thing that I would want it just to have it, kind of thing.
I'm crying over it. All right, let's see here. Next one is gonna be the Landini Series 7 Robo 6 by Giant Software. This one's gonna be 11.81 megabytes to download. Change log 1.0.0.1 fixed transparent dashboard.
I've set my controller down for this one. I set my controller down. Giants, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Giants. Yes, yes, yes. YES. Giants is capable. Yes. It looks fantastic. It is definitely a really good model and is definitely got that Giants flair to it.
Not 1.3.
Not 1.3. Not 1.3. That is going to be their new stand-in for something that's bad. 1.3 is our new stand-in.
Yo, watch like their new map that they're remaking. It's gonna be like
Dude,
2 gigs.
That's why I'm dude. That's why I'm seriously nervous. I'm seriously really like anxious about this now because if you're telling me 1.3 for Silver Run, a forestry map, what kind of file size are they in store for us for a map that is going to certainly be more than just trees?
Right.
Is going to be more than just trees. Seriously, like this is a genuine concern of mine. Like they might bring back a really awesome map. Who knows what they have in store for us? I mean, could you imagine if this was like not saying that any way, shape, or form, but in any direction. But imagine Elm Creek. Imagine Elm Creek and the file size that's going to be if 1.3 is the starting bar for Silver Run.
1.8. Yeah.
Like 2.2. Like seriously, this is like my genuine concern because you're talking. You've got the baseball stadiums. You're talking. You've got the water towers. You've got all these different things that are in Elm Creek, or even Hobellerone, or even Erlingrot for crying out loud.
Oh, Erlingrot would probably be like 1.4.
Like seriously, like imagine the file size. Like I'm sorry that I keep bringing it back to this and I keep harping on this, but this is genuinely a concern for me because it's one of those that it literally puts these style of maps out of reach for the average console player, and that is infuriating to me. So anyways, Landini Series 7 Robo 6. This is how it's done. 11.81 megabytes to install this. For a medium-sized tractor, 190 to 225 horsepower, this is a brilliant example of what can be done. Having a highly detailed model. It's a Landini, so I don't have any preference to this particular brand. So it is what it is. But, I mean, it can be done. It absolutely can be done. And as soon as we go away from this one and go on to the next one, I'm going to start pitching a fit again.
Well, there you go. The next one's going to be the Class Arion 600 by Giant Software.
1.3!
It's going to be 35.8 megabytes to download. And you got change log 1.0.0.1 adjusted transmission sounds.
So we went from 12 megabytes to 36. Why? 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 For a small tractor. The last one was a medium tractor. This is a smaller tractor. No, don't get me wrong. Here's the thing. I can see why there's going to be comparisons. I'm hyping this up. I am kind of being, a little bit hyperbolic on this one. I will admit. But you can tell that there's a lot of texture differences. A lot of different things are going into this model that was not in the Landini. I'm not lost on that fact. So I'm trying to be funny at the same time as I am kind of being serious. 36 megabytes to install this one for a small baby Kloss tractor. I mean, I would never install this for that file size for this style of tractor. Don't get me wrong, I do like Kloss. I do think it's a good brand. It's not enough because I know that somebody else is going to bring this same exact tractor out, the Arion 600, as a mod, and it's going to be half the file size. I
1.3.
know it. I know it's going to happen. So yes, this one 1.3.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one's be the Dualsfire Series 6 TTV by Giant Software. This is
Now,
23.29 megabytes to download. Changelog 1.0.0.1. Fixed upper link holder.
1.3, this is not. This is not. This one I like again. So Landini was 12. This is 23.29. This one here is less than 25 megabytes to install, but you see it's highly, highly detailed. You see this first screenshot here, and look at the kind of baffling that you got, and the cowling right here in the center. You got the kind of baffling that you have here in the front and on the sides. Like, it looks so good. Looks so good. But it's 10 megabytes less than the Kloss. Why? Why is that? Like, this one, I would argue the Deutzfahr here looks better than the Kloss. Significantly better. And you've got the Warrior. Look at that. That is beautiful. That black on black Warrior. Wow. Just wow. And again, medium tractor. So you're going from the small tractor with 10 more megabytes to now a larger tractor, medium size, for 10 less.
Yeah.
Why? 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 Not 1.3.
Let's see. All right, moving on. So the next one's going to be The Memory. This is by Princess Black. Oh, that sounds bad. This is going to be 549.02 megabytes to download. Not 1.3. But
Not 1.3.
this does require 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 mods.
So this one here, I'm going to say is 1.3-ish. Ish. Now, the reason I say ish is that this is a very nice map. I really like this. I like this in 22. I like it here again in 25. Now, the reason I say ish is that we have several required mods. That's a downside. But there's a lot of issues with this map right now. A lot of issues. It's going to require a pretty significant update. Likely is going to be one that's going to require a new save game. So for those of you out there who saw my map tour, I pointed out several of the issues right off the bat. There's many different farms in this one. As best as I can tell, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate farms outside of the main starting farm. The main starting farm is absolutely gorgeous. The terrain on this one is breathtaking and it was made for FS25. It was legitimately made. The version of 22 is a significant downgrade, and it was still a really good map for 22. Now here in 25, because of the kind of painted terrain that we have for the road networks, you don't see the amount of juddering and jaggedness that you saw from 22. Yeah. So to kind of give you an overview of what I'm talking about, in 22, the road network would lay over top of the actual terrain that was being painted. So you would have a road that here, let me bring back my camera just real quick. If you had a camera or a hill that was kind of, buckled like this, and you had the road that was laid over top of it, what would happen is you'd have an angle, something similar to this, right? Every single time that you'd go down at too harsh of a degree. So on that map in particular, there was a lot of undulations and a lot of real sharp hills. So what you would see is when you would go up and down a hill, you'd see joints that were very harshly angled, and it would look very, very bad. Now, even though it was very bad and harshly angled, there were still very, very beautiful parts of that map, and it made it very, very nice. Now, all that being said, because the road networks are actually kind of built onto the train or into the train on this version, it's basically painted on. You don't get the jaggedness. You don't get that whole kind of, harshness. Now, the worst thing I can say is on the kind of road networks is that it very much winds and twists and turns. And the way that it's painted on, you do see that kind of jaggedness on the road painting, but it's not to the degree of the jaggedness from the hills. That's where it was uh, very much lacking for me. And I can deal with the kind of roads kind of being like the painting of the roads being a little bit jagged, a little bit off. And I think that with a little bit of TLC, that it could be made far smoother than what it is. So all in all, it's a beautiful map. I don't remember what I gave it off the top of my head. I think I gave it somewhere in the ballpark of a 3.5, 4, somewhere in there, maybe even higher. I might have gone as high as a 4.5, but lots of things to do. There's forestry, there's farming, there's multiple farms, tons of stuff on this map. Absolutely worth the install when it's fixed.
Not 1.3. Yeah. Let's see. That's gonna be a running joke from now on. I'm telling you.
Dude, let's do it.
Let's see. So the next one is gonna be the Amazon Profile Hopper. This is made by GTX. This is gonna be 3.85 megabytes to download.
So less than 4 megabytes to install, and it's a very, very small mower. Has a very specific use case for it, but I actually like this. I actually like this. It's one of those kind of, use it if you want it, but it's interesting. It's interesting. It'd make for a good like storyline where you were a mowing. Ooh, I got the hiccups. I apologize.
Like landscape.
You were like a mowing company or something like that, like a landscaping company, exactly. So you could pair this with like the Weed Whacker mod and be able to kind of utilize this. But it's got really tight turning radius, so it works really good. It's not a zero turn, but it's very, very nice. I do like this mod. I did install this mod because it's less than 4 megabytes. It's not a big file size, and it might not be something that I would not a 1.3. And for $6,000, if you're looking to start small or looking to start kind of a storyline, this is a good option for you.
Oh yeah, 100%. Let's see. Next one is gonna be the John Deere 710. This is by Fred Modding. Hispano's also working on one of these. This is gonna be 9.57 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $7,500. You have a horsepower of 50. I downloaded this.
So this one I love. I absolutely love this. Less than 10 megabytes to install this. 7,500 to buy, 50 horsepower. It's a perfect starting small tractor, especially if you're doing like a start from scratch. It's something that's going to be cheap. It's something that's going to work, and it's something that's going to get you around from point A to point B. All in all, for less than 10 megabytes to install, absolutely. And I love the old style tractors. I love this look. The modder here, Fred Modding, did an absolutely lovely job with this. Highly, highly detailed, and yeah, looks really sharp. Really, really sharp.
I guarantee you.
Whoa, how did that happen?
I guarantee you that if that was from Giant Software, probably like 35 megabytes.
1.3.
Let's see here. Yeah, Classic Tractors Pack by Dogface. I love that name. This is going to be 16.67 megabytes to download. And now, for this, you have the Zader Z25K. Horsepower is 25. Your price tag of $9,500. You have your Porsche Diesel Junior 108. You have a horsepower of 14, and you have a price tag of $7,500.
So again, less than 17 megabytes to install, and you get two tractors of this kind of older style. I love this one. I absolutely love it. It's got a very small horsepower, very cheap on the price, less than 10 grand each. I mean, again, really good for starting start from scratches and things like that, where you're looking for very small but workable machinery.
They also look fantastic too.
They really do. These are comebacks from FS22. These were downloadables from Giants
Yeah.
last year, and now they're a part of the mods here in FS25, and I welcome it. The kind of Zadar has a kind of Kloss look to it, and I really like that. I love the kind of open cockpit
Yeah.
design of these older style tractors, and again, less than 10 grand for each of them.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Oh yeah, 100%. So your next one.
Not 1.3.
Exactly. Not 1.3 gigs. This is gonna be, the John Deere Green System Trailer Pack. This is by JD Modding ARG. This is 12.38 megabytes to download, and you have price tag range between $7,500 and $12,000. I installed these. I like these.
They're header trailers. I mean, personally, I'm not a John Deere person where I'm gonna go out and like, oh, it's got John Deere associated to it, so let me download it.
Right.
We've got plenty of header trailers in base game. Kind of like what Arthur was saying earlier, we got plenty of options already. I don't need more.
Right. That's Eric. Next one is going to be the New Holland BR 6090 in the case RB 344. This is by Daniel X321. This is 6.23 megabytes to download. For the New Holland, well, for both of them, you have a price tag of $30,000. Required horsepower is 45, and your capacity is 4,000 liters, so it's on your smaller side.
So, I love these. Absolutely love them. Less than 7 megabytes to install. The starting price for these, $30,000. Horsepower requirements, 45, and they make small bales. All right? All that being said, the Gavile, the base game, smallest, cheapest baler that we can get our hands on, $60,500. So you're saving already $30,500 as opposed to the Gavile.
Yeah.
Makes the same size bales. 45 horsepower for this mod versus 120. 120. So half the price, not even half the horsepower, and 7 megabytes to install. All day, every day. And that, again, that kind of old school look that these have to them are just absolutely wonderful. I love that kind of boxy kind of look to it.
Right.
They look very highly detailed. I love the cowling on the side and the front there. Or it just, yeah, absolutely love this. And yeah, I think it's definitely worth installing.
Yeah, 100%. Here, next one is going to be the Eurospam pack. This is by Black Eyes Modding. This is going to be 21.49 megabytes to download. So now you have a trailer that comes with this with a price tag of $10,000. And then you have the Elantra slash Chrono. You have a price tag of $20,000, and you have a capacity from 1,400, 2,000, 3,000 liters. So, and then you have the David Fruit slash Compact Fruit, which is you have a price tag of $12,500, capacity of 600, 800, and 1,000 liters.
So for 22 megabytes to install, I think that this is way too weird for my blood right off the bat for a fertilizer spreader. It's, don't get me wrong, it's a nice little system, and I do like the way it looks, but at the end of the day, it's usable with a 3-point link already. So it's basically a fertilizer spreader with extra steps.
Right. So your next one is going to be Leash. This is by LS Rowan Designs. This is going to be 0.32 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $20.
So this is essentially like the shepherd's cane, where you're able to use this as a transport system for animals. You can take 2 animals between your stables, you transport them, do whatever you want to do. It's nice. I like it for less than half a megabyte to install for $20. You have yourself an animal trailer with capacity of two animals. So yeah, install this one all day, every day.
The next one's going to be the Gornick Grinder 300. This is by WolfX Modding, aka Wolf Wipo Modding. This is going to be 11.71 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $10,000, working with of 3 meters. Horsepower requirement is 100. This is actually a roller, too.
So this is really close to being in line with the base game. This is $1,000 more expensive than base game. Same working with, same everything else. 12 megabytes to install. I mean, it's one of those where it kind of is what it is. If it works as a roller and a disc harrow, then that one kind of puts it into a league of I would install this. I haven't, but I would if it does double duty, as compared to the base game one that does single duty.
It does not.
It doesn't do double duty. Didn't you say it
No.
was a roller?
It is a roller, but it doesn't disc harrow either. It just rolls.
Oh, this is just a roller, so
Yep.
the category is wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. All right, well then, let me check that out just real quick because that kind of changes the analysis. I was comparing it to base game disc arrows. Roller. Where is the roll? There we go. So
two.
base game that we have, I mean, oh yeah, install this all day, every day. The base game one that we have is 12.3 meters and 46,500. This is 10 grand for 3 meters. So what is that? That's 369. So you're talking 12 four times 40,000. I mean, you're going to save a little bit of money per meter. It's going to be like $40,000 if you were to multiply this by 4 to get the 12 meters comparable. So you're spending less per meter for this. So yeah, this would be worth installing if it's just a roller.
Right.
Now, real quick, do you mind if I catch up with the chat?
Go ahead.
All right, so going back to this, looks like Kiwi Sim Farmer, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Says hi, everyone. And says the Jade Storm 87, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day as well. As an XX player, I wouldn't download a map that large, even if it was farming map. Being a logging specific map, no thank you. I would rather the Silver Lake map from earlier. Jade Storm, 1,000,000%.
1.3.
1.3. 1.3. Yes. No, Jade, I couldn't have said it any better myself. Absolutely spot on.
Oh, good.
1.3. Yes, now I'm good.
Go 1.3. Those are, next one is going to be the Agribusiness POV 5XL. This is by Capio. This will be 2.81 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $10,000. You have a power requirement of 150, and working width of 2.5 meters, almost 3.
So this one here, I would install this. I absolutely would. Now here's why. Less than 3 megabytes to install. This is a like for the Agrimass POV 5XL that we have in base game. The difference is that this has color combinations, and according to the Mod Hub, it's only priced at $10,000 to where the same exact unit base game is $16,000. So this one you'll save $6,000 right off the bat. Right off the bat. And this one is 10 horsepower less requirement than the base game one. Same working with, cheaper price, less horsepower, good to go.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Next one is going to be the Bio 3G pack. This is by USM or Universe Simu Modding. This is going to be 1.86 megabytes to download. I installed this. I really like this a lot.
So as best as I can tell, this is just a branded fertilizer pack, is it not?
Yes, it is branded. Yeah, so for example, you got 500-liter pallet of fertilizer for $310.
So let me see something just real quick. Boop, 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 boop. Nope, I'm already past it.
Yeah, 1,000 liter,
Okay.
1,000 liter big bag of fertilizer, 1,820.
Okay, so it's slightly cheaper than base game. Base game solid fertilizer is 1,920, so it's $100 cheaper for that 1,000 liter capacity. I mean, that's nice. Is it worth 2 megabytes? Eh.
And then a 1,000 liter big bag of lime is $450.
So big bag of lime here in base game is $450 for 2,000 liters.
So I guess it's whatever you prefer. I guess at that point.
Exactly.
So your next one is gonna be Old Time Shed Pack. This is by Zero Oto. This is gonna be 45.30 megabytes to download. So you have price ranges. You have price tag ranges of $10,000 to $35,000, and you have monthly and daily upkeeps between $10 and $110. Now the one that's the fourth slideshow in, fourth one, that is a workshop. Then the one that's next to that, so you're looking at one, two, three, four. So the number five screenshot, that building is 65 slots.
Wow.
So I'll just keep that in mind for anybody.
Holy smokes. Now here's the thing. I am a huge Zero Ito fan. Huge Zero Ito fan. I love their mods. I love their maps. They make fantastic stuff. Like they are, to me, one of the best modders and map makers that we have in Farming Simulator. I mean, one of the best. That being said, I would not install this simply because of the file size, but I can absolutely see where the file size is coming from. I can see where the slot size is coming from. The amount of details that are on these buildings are amazing, absolutely spectacular. And even the one that you mentioned that was 60 slots. I mean, the detail work on that, the rusting on the roof pans, the kind of weathering on the stone walls, on the sides and inside is just, it's next level good. I
Yeah.
mean, absolutely fantastic. Again, I would not install this, but not because I think it's, bad or anything. I think it's really, really good, just not going to be one that I would want to dedicate the space to.
Right. 100%. Now this next one, I did like this one here. The bulk material warehouse, not a warehouse, just a shed, but this is by Black Tiger. This is gonna be 4.81 megabytes to download. So so it is 20 by 12 meters. You have a price tag of $55,000 and a daily upkeep of $35.
So for less than 5 megabytes to install, you can have a place to store your bulk materials. Yeah, the 55 grand, I think that's pretty good. Now, do you know if this works like an actual silo or is this just loose material just being piled up?
Loose material, but nothing bleeds through.
Okay, so if that's the case, then I mean it's nice, but not something I'd necessarily would install, even at the low file size and all that stuff. It's just one of those where I'd buy a silo first and throw it in a silo.
Right. Right. I personally, I mean, because for mine, so the one I have, my wheel loader's parked on one side, and the other side I got lime built up, and then I got another one of these, which the one side is gonna be for hay, the other side is gonna be for straw, and I have that right across from right where my bunker silos are, so I can make the TMR.
Oh, nice.
So your next one is gonna be Small Chicken Coop. This is by I think it's supposed to be Canary, 317. This is 3.46 megabytes to download. It holds 20 chickens. You're looking at a price tag of $15,000 and a daily upkeep of $10 a day. For something that has the amount of detail as this does for only 3.46 megabytes.
So the amount of detail on this is staggering. It's absolutely gorgeous. Very much has a very specific style to it, very European style. So I don't know how often I would actually utilize this particular model, but the problem that I see with it is that base animals is 20, base price is 15,000. You can get a chicken coop base game with capacity for 20 chickens for 5,700, 6,900, 25,000 for one of the bigger kind of with sheds and stuff like that. But I mean, just talking about the actual chicken coops themselves for less than 7 grand, as opposed to double that price for the same amount of chickens. I don't think. I mean, less than 4 megabytes though. I mean, it's one of those I could see putting this in somewhere, but it would be a very, very specific case. So
Like
probably
Zonka.
not so much for me. Yeah, like a Lanka would probably fit just fine with this, but the problem is that again, you're spending 15 grand as opposed to, maybe like putting the one kind of bubble dome with the blue tarp over top of it,
Yeah.
which would also probably fit on a Lanka, for less than 6 grand.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, I mean, I guess it's whoever. It's the person's preference, I guess.
Yep, exactly.
I like this next one. So the next one's gonna be Firewood Production. This is by Agribusiness. It's 15.72 megabytes to download.
So yeah, I'm right there with you. I think this is a really good looking model. It's got a really nice kind of unique output in the firewood, as opposed to just having wood. Yeah, I think this is nice. For less than 16 megabytes to install, you get this kind of custom looking sawmill kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's a good one. Absolutely would install this.
Yeah. The next one I installed too. I was happy for this. This is a fermenting silo pack. This is by Hungry Cow Design. It'll be 6.56 megabytes to download. You have a small strafe silo, large strafe silo, and a blue steel silo. So for the small one, capacity is 338,000 liters. You have a price tag of $60,000. Daily upkeep $35 a day. Production speed 7,500 liters per hour. For your
Wow.
Yeah. For your large strafe silo, you have a price tag of $565,000. No, that's capacity. Sorry, price tag of $100,000. Daily upkeep of $50, and the production speed is 10,000 liters per hour. And then you have the blue steel silo, which is the one I have placed down. The capacity of 925,000 liters. Your price tag of $250,000. Daily upkeep is $100 a day, and your production speed is 25,000 liters per hour.
Cha-ching. Yeah, you're spending 250 grand, but you're getting 25,000 liters per hour. That's nuts.
Yeah, so this will do like your chaff silage, grass silage, and hay silage.
Yep.
So absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, less than 7 megabytes to install. You got all those various options, and you can produce a lot of silage in a short amount of time. Absolutely would install it. Not 1.3.
And the best part is, guess what? It's
Not
one to,
1.3.
It's not one. It's not one. It's not 1.3. No, but it's a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yep. Yep.
So your next one is be fertilizer tank. This is by Modding Association Katsu. Katsu. It's gonna be a 4.78 megabytes to download. So your measurement is supposed to be 9.5 meters by 4 meters. So it says each, but it's in total. So it's me. So it can hold 53,800 liters, but it can hold both. But that's like the main capacity. Your daily upkeep is $35 a day. Your price tag is $26,500.
So for less than 5 MB to install, less than 30 to buy, 54-ish thousand liters to, store your liquid fertilizer and herbicide. Yeah, solid. Absolutely solid. I would install this. Absolutely.
And the pipe actually, you can rotate the pipe out to simulate you're unloading it.
Oh, beauty.
Let's see. Next one is going to be the self-made fuel tank. This is by Bolodzigo. I don't know how you pronounce that. It's gonna
What'd
be,
you call me?
so, so this is not 1.3. So this is going to be 1.61 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $1,500, capacity of 1,000 liters, and your daily upkeep of $3.
This one's solid. I like this one. It's a unique take on how to store fuel for less than 2 MB to install, less than 2,000 to buy, 1,000 liter capacity. I mean, it's a small fuel tank compared to like what else we can get on base game. But you figure, for 5,000 liters, you can buy a tank here on base game for $5,300. So you're spending a little bit more, but you're kind of getting a little bit of personality with this. So all in all, I say that's worth installing, and that it's a nice kind of aesthetic to it as well.
Next one's going to be the phone booth teleporter. This is by Squizzle. Squizzle. It's going to be 0.88 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $25. You have a daily upkeep of 0.
So this one, I understand what they're getting at with this. I do appreciate this. It's not one that I would install on my map simply because of the kind of single use case of having it just be a kind of teleportation system, like it was something you could just plop down. It was very similar to like what Alien Jim made in FS22, to
Yeah.
where it was just a little pad that you put down, you'd buy it, and it would just give you a waypoint that you can jump to. But the thing is that with this game and the way that they designed it is that you can jump to fields, you can jump to, specific points of interest.
Right.
You can jump to all sorts of different things. I mean, is it really necessary? It's one of those, it's less than a megabyte to install, so it's not a huge commitment file size. It's $25 to install. It's one of those that, yeah, you can put it in and have it be part of kind of the general decorations. And I could see a use case for like a Oak Bridge Farms, where there's supposed to be a trigger point, a teleportation point to the main shop, but right now it's not working, at least as far as I'm aware. So this could kind of be a stand-in for it, which would be nice. But one of those that hyper-specific use case, hyper-specific, and its kind of looks and aesthetics. It's not going to fit in a lot of different styles of maps. So all that, it's going to be kind of a push for me. Not really strong either direction.
Or if you want to be like that weirdo that watches Doctor Who, or be like, Scotty, beat me up from Star Trek. Next one's we saw Stone Decorations. This is by MA7 Studio. Love their mods. This is gonna be
Same maker as Pelinier.
this is gonna be 7.24 megabytes to download. I'm not gonna read this off, but there's like, this is a very unique design.
Yes, so I absolutely love the gate and the kind of keystone archway that it shows. You can see it here on my screen. I think that that's absolutely fantastic. It's got a very nice look and kind of a aesthetic to it. Again, MA7 Studios makes amazing mods, amazing maps. Yeah, 100% love this. And for less than 8 megabytes to install, it's definitely got a unique flavor to it. It's going to have a very specific use case, but I could see the appeal of it like 100% could see the appeal to it.
Right. Next one is going to be Cow Fences. This is also by MA7 Studio. This would be 18.48 megabytes to download.
So this one I'm a little less forgiving about. Like the last one I did enjoy and I do like it. This one though, it's 19 megabytes. 19 megabytes. The one before this was 7.24. Why? Why like am I missing something here? Like I don't understand how this like I would have thought like the opposite would have been the case. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But look, I mean, all that being said, it's a gorgeous mod. It's like it looks really really good. Um, just that file size though.
Right. Let's see here. Next one is going to be Placeable Ramp. This is by 8 Modding, Stoneway Design, and ABP Team. This will be 1.19 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $1,400 and a daily upkeep of $2. And then you have the Fun Ramp, which is going to be $1,400.
So when I saw this, less than 2 megabytes to install, that's totally fine. Price, totally fine. Everything about this is totally fine. I saw that ramp and immediately thought of Driver 53. Immediately thought of him. And the specific instance I'm talking about is he was doing a stream a few weeks ago with, I think it's Chris S. and Riley's S's Colossus Harvester. And he had all tuned up to where he's flying down this road at like 70 miles an hour, and all of a sudden he hits this ramp that he built up from the terrain, and he just goes shooting this harvester over the moon, and just needless to say, it was a fun stream to stop in at that specific point in time. But no, that's just immediately who I thought of is when I saw this. So all that being said, I mean, for specifically the actual usable ramp that's kind of in the background of this photo here, I think that's a nice looking model, and for less than 2 megabytes, absolutely worth it installing. If you want to, tool around and have a little bit of fun with a little stunt ramp, then this has it too. So yeah, worth an install.
So there's one update that came with that mod day. So that's going to be the Big Decorations package. This is by DDIC96. This is going to be 11.41 megabytes to download. Change log 1.1.0.0. 40 new objects added.
So all in all, there's 81 models to this pack, and it's less than 12 megabytes to install. Now, I don't know if that's the original file size, that 12 megabytes, if that was for the original 41 models, or if that's total as it stands right now. I'm not sure. If it's total as it stands right now, then that file size for that amount of deco, yeah, absolutely worth installing. Even if it's double that because we've gotten basically double the models, then it's kind of pushing it at 22 megabytes. It'd be one of those that, yeah, I could see installing it in certain cases and others not. So, again, kind of a push.
It's not 1.3 gig though.
It's 1.3 depending.
Let's see. All right, so this next one's be the Lizard or Peterbilt 379. This is by Schultz's Sluches Modding. Love this truck.
Not 1.3.
Not 1.3. Giants. it's going to be 24.82.
Not 1.3.
It's going to be 24.82 megabytes to download. This thing has so much customization to it. It reminds me of
It's
TLX.
nuts. So, with the amount of customizing options that you have on this, I mean, you can see on my screen here, power, chassis, Jake brake, fifth wheel attachment, bumper, short cabin, log cabin, standard chassis, long chassis, short chassis, lights on the top of the cabin, lights on the rear view mirror, exhaust, fenders, horn and decorations, color in the cabin, color on the chassis, color on the fenders, display of the cabin, blah, 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 blah. Less than 25 megabytes to install, and the price for $45,000 for 425 horsepower. All that being said, absolutely all day, every day, this is a fantastic mod.
Oh yeah, 100%. I can't.
not 1.3.
I can't wait for his Kenworth to come out. 1.3. So your next one is going to be the Crone Swadro 395. This is by B Gamer 003 003, not 007, 003. This is going to be 5.11 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $9,000. You have a horsepower requirement of 35, and a working.
It's over 9,000. Sorry.
Or working with 4 meters.
Do you happen to know that reference? Please tell me you do.
What was it?
It's over 9,000.
No.
Hurt my soul. Anyways,
Sorry.
less than 6 megabytes to install. Not that bad. For $9,000, you get 4-meter working with. The original kind of comparable, the K brand GA 4731, 4.7 meter working with for $9,000. So base game is as expensive, so it's the same price, but is 0.7 meters bigger.
Right.
So me personally, I'm going to skip the Crone.
Right. Next one's going to be the Pottinger Cat Pack, or CAT Pack. This is by ADA or Agribusiness.
I'm a cat pack.
Agra Design Austria. This would be 16.09 megabytes to download. Now, I'm going to say one thing right now. These sound amazing. It's all custom noises.
17 megabytes to install. It comes with 2 mowers. Both of them are 2.65 and 3.05 meters. So about the closest thing we got is the K-brand GMD 3123F. The starting prices on these, $3,300 as well as $5,500. The K-brand, $13,500. So these are significantly cheaper for almost the same working with as the K-brand. And let's just compare as close to apples as we possibly can with the Cat 310. It's going to be working with of 0.05 meters smaller than the K brand. Again, K brand 13,500. This is 5,500. So $8,000 cheaper for this mod as opposed to that starter. And 17 megabytes. That's quite a bit, but not terrible.
Right. Next one is going to be the Robert. See, it's not. I found out it's not Robert. It's a Robert.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's French.
Yeah. F4700.
Robert.
This is by Polo 5090R. It's be 8.46 megabytes to download. So you have a working width of 4.7 meters and a price tag of 16,800.
So, closest thing we've got to this one is the Nuche Speedmax 560. $21,000 to buy that one, but it's 5.6 working with. This is a 4.7 working with, so it's about a meter smaller, just shy of a meter smaller, and is 16,800. So you're spending about $3,200 less for less than a meter difference. So for 9 megabytes to install, I don't know if it's worth it. I think that just spending the few extra $1,000 for a little bit better working with is kind of worth it in this case. So this one would be a pass for me.
Right.
Now, just real quick, one more catch up with the chat there.
Yeah.
Whiskey Creek Farms. How's it going there, bud? It says still going. Oh, we are still going. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, but we're going strong. And he had a member chat for 3 months being a member. Thank you so much, Whiskey, for that. It says no more 3-meter plows. We can't stop it, man. We can't stop it.
And no more 1.3 gig maps.
No more 1.3s.
Now, if it was a 4X, that would actually make sense. But
Oh, like I said, I'm the only reason I got so hung up over it and so like into that was because it's Silver Run Forest. It's a forestry map. We have forestry maps that are like I won't say as detailed because they're simply not. But we've got forestry maps for less than like 80 megabytes.
right,
Like, tell me the disconnect there.
because by Giant Software.
Dude, I mean, okay. Anyways, let's not rehash this.
Right. So
1.3.
1 by 3. So the next one is going to be the Canervlin EG100. This is by Proximum. This is going to be 4.75 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $17,000. You have a required horsepower of 105 and a work width of 2 meters.
Hard pass. Hard pass on this one. Here's why. 5 megabytes to install. Not that bad. The closest comparable is the Agrimass POV 5XL, and 160 horsepower is required for that one. This is only 105, so that does sound a little bit better until now. So the Agrimass is 2.5 meter working width. This is a 2 meter working width, so you get a little bit more with the Agrimass. But the Agrimass is $16,000. This is $17,000. So you're spending less, getting more with the base game, and you're not having to include the file size.
Right.
All in all, hard pass.
Yeah. Your next one is going to be Trailer with Beat Cutter. This is by Dogface. This is going to be 4.37 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $51,000 and capacity of 29,000 liters.
Love this one. Absolutely love this one. For less than 5 megabytes to install, you have a trailer that works as a trailer, full sentence stop, and then on top of all that, it can cut your sugar beets for you. So if you are working sugar beets and you want them into cut sugar beets, instead of having to go 2,000 liters at a time using the sugar beet cutter bucket, you can just take an entire trailer of 29,000 liters worth of sugar beets and turn it into 29,000 liters of cut sugar beets. Love this model. Love this trailer and the cool little beet ninja on the side there.
Yeah.
Love it.
Your next one is going to be the Lizard 2200G slurry tanker. This is by Sully. This is going to be 9.38 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $17,500, capacity of 10,000 liters. You have a working width of 13.5 meters. Yeah.
So, for less than 10 megabytes to install, the closest comparable we have is the FarmTech Super Seas 800. The Super Seas has a capacity of 8,200, a 15-meter working width, and an 80 horsepower. This has and is 31,500. This is $17,500. So you're talking half the price right off the bat. 10,000 liter capacity. So you're talking about 1,800 liters more capacity for the mod, and a working width of 13.5, which is slightly smaller than the 15 that the FarmTech has. But at the price, more capacity, slightly smaller working width. This is a solid mod. I would install this.
Oh, yeah. Next one is going to be the Lizard ML Low Loader Pack. This is by Gens M. The 13.51 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $17,500. That's for the smallest of them. Then you have the large one for a price tag of $25,000.
I mean, they are a low loader. I don't have too strong of an opinion either way on low loaders. As long as they're relatively decent priced and not huge model size, then yeah, it's all right. 14 megabytes to install this one and 25 grand for the most expensive one. It's not terrible, and one that I really don't feel strongly either way.
Right. So your next one is going to be the All-Purpose Tool. This is by USM or Universe Simu Modding. This is going to be 2.39 megabytes to download. You have a price tag of $1,500. And you can also use it as an animal trailer, so you can hold 3 pigs and 3 sheep/goats.
So I like this one. Less than 3 megabytes to install, and you have something that can carry your palleted goods around. You have something that can carry around animals. I mean, yeah, it's super small. 3 pigs, 3 sheep or goats. Like, yeah, it's gonna be itty bitty, and you can kind of see that little, you know, whatever that 3-wheeled monstrosity is for the Hutan Pantai map. That's fitting right inside of the thing there. So it's small. It's really really small, but it's got a cool little flavor to it, and I like it. So less than 3 megabytes to install, yeah, I'd do that, and $1,500. So if you're looking for something that's gonna tow around some couple of small animals or a couple of small bits of pieces of equipment, yeah, I install it.
Right. Next one is going to be the Quickie Sten Grip pack. This is by Gens M. This is going to be 5.37 megabytes to download, and you got 3 different versions. So you have the lowest one, which holds that 0.47 thousand liters, whatever it is, to up to 72. Whatever that compares to.
Yeah. So less than 6 megabytes to install this one. This one I'm not too crazy about, um, just because it's a hyper specific kind of tool kind of thing, and you're talking incredibly low levels of capacity for these tools for the prices that you're putting in. Um, I just don't see this one being too terribly worth it for me personally. So this one would be a pass.
I agree 100%. Let's see. Your next one is going to be a Big White Cow Barn. This is by Rojo G Play. This will be 70.99 megabytes to download.
1.3.
Yeah. So, so you have the main big cow barn, which holds 60 cattle. You're looking at $85,000 with a $200 maintenance per day. You have a second barn, which is $60,000 that holds 50 cows with a $180 maintenance fee. Then you got a bunker silo, slab for manure, and small garage.
71 megabytes to install, and we're talking barns, buildings, and cows. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a gorgeous looking model. Roger G Play makes amazing looking stuff. I love the last photo on the reel here, where it's got the kind of ivy vines just growing up the side of it. That's fantastic looking. But again, it's that very specific style of building that is going to fit on very specific styles of maps. So it's one of those that I understand they're building it for a very specific use case. It says Eastern European here. So Zeelanka would probably be a good fit for something like this. But one of those where at the end of the day, it's really limited for the kind of map style that it can fit on. And for 71 megabytes, just not worth it for me.
Oh, I agree 100% with that. Next one's going to be the Old Farm Building Set. This is also by Roger G Play. This is going to be 25.61 megabytes to download. So it's just a bunch of sheds. Now the one from the first picture, that looks fantastic.
Yeah, I love that stone texture that's on the side there. Again, Rajo G Play makes amazing models, amazing mods. Yeah, it's the only problem is that they're very much a very specific look to them. So because of that, it's not going to be really usable in a lot of other maps. And like if you're not playing in a European style map, it's really going to stand out like really hard. a lot of these models. So it's one of those that they're going to be very hyper specific in their use cases. It's going to be hyper specific in like their kind of looks and aesthetics. So again, for 26 megabytes to install, not one that I would install unless I was playing on a European style map that is going to be more of a, I think, Eastern European style. I don't think you're going to see these in kind of Western Europe, um, for the most part.
Right. Yeah, man, you definitely won't see those around here.
Nope.
So the next one is going to be the New England Shed. This is by Squizzle, by Squizzle, Squizzle,
Squiggles?
Squizzles.
Squiggles.
It's going to be 4.23 megabytes to download. So you have a price tag of $500 and a daily upkeep of 2.
So this one I'm not gonna really weigh into heavily on. It's a shed that's big enough to fit one of the smaller tractors. It is what it is. I'm not gonna take too strong of a stance on it either way.
Right. So your next one is going to be the Fermenter 60,000 liter. This is going to be this is by DS Power. This is going to be 16.41 megabytes to download. So
So this one I like, with the exception of the file size. 17 megabytes to install. It's kind of a high on the file size, but it's definitely a different way to create your silage. You know, you put in straw, chaff, or hay, and diesel to get out your silage. And I like that. I think it's a kind of a unique take on things. Very highly detailed. It's got kind of the nice little corkscrew intake to kind of force feed into the fermenting tanks. But I mean, outside of that, yeah, I think it's a solid mod. I would install this.
man, I don't know. It's just not my style, I guess. Next one is going to be the Karma Silo Bin. This is by Zero Farmer. This is going to be 7.53 megabytes to download.
So 8 megabytes to install, and it's one of those kind of fillable silos, I presume, with seeds and mineral feed. Yeah, seeds, mineral feed, pig food, lime. So yeah, one of those to where if you're looking for a silo set that will do all that for you, then this will be a pack for you. Again, not going to take too strong a stance on this one way or the other.
Right. Now, there's the next one that has your name written all over it when I sent this to you. So this is going to be the Farm Fill Stations. This is by GMNG Joy, or Gaming Joy.
Gaming Joy.
This is going to be 12.25 megabytes to download. Now, this is something different. So you have all different kind of silos. So you have your field work, husbandry, and liquid and bulk. But then you also have one for 30% discount, one that's completely free, and then you have a fill station like your normal silo. You could also sell as well.
So I love that Gaming Joy is giving us so many different options, from colors to different styles. Not necessarily styles, but different colors, different like styles, as in the types of outputs that these things will put out. And then, of course, I love the whole rusty but trusty. I love that. And for 13 megabytes to install, it's not that bad. And having this much of an option, especially again being content creator, one of those that there are times where just buying stuff, you know, for the necessity of like a screenshot or something like that, and not having to spend money, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. Yeah, I would install this every day. Yep, all day, every day.
So and that's what was me the Metal Fence Pack. This is by K-Man. This is gonna be a 3.10 megabytes to download.
So less than 4 megabytes to install, and you get kind of a unique looking fence with gates. I like it. I think it's something that if it kind of meets that aesthetics that you're looking for, that it would be very easy to handle and to install. Yeah, I would install this. It's a nice looking model.
And I got that one installed. It's super nice. Next one would be the placeable construction signs. This is by Agribusiness. It's gonna be a 5.26 megabytes to download. Now, the very interesting thing about this is that you can actually find everything in fences, because that's exactly how it, how it gets put down. There is also one thing. See, rock pile automatically regenerates every hour, offering 30,000 liters to recover. Price is $1,000.
I love this one. I absolutely love this one. For less than 6 megabytes to download, you can have basically deco is essentially what it is, but they could list it under fences. But the more important thing than the deco is that stone refill, that stone generator. For $1,000, you can sit there and recover 30,000 liters of stone at one time. Absolutely love it, and it's this pile right here that I'm referring to. That's the final photo in the reel. This just will essentially just keep sitting there and filling and filling and filling over time, and eventually leave you with stones that you can pluck out and use for your own purposes.
Last two mods. Next one is going to be an update to the Bailey High Lift trailer. This is by Rasa Mods. It's going to be 18.75 megabytes to download. You have a changelog 1.0.0.1, fixed conflicting hoses, added decals, fixed hose cover.
I love this mod. I love it. For 19 megabytes to install, it's a little bit rich for my blood. $38,000 to buy, 17.27, 17,000 liter capacity. But the nice little party trick this thing has, which puts it over the top for me, is the high lift function. The fact that you can jack it up off the ground and load into things, into other trailers, into other hoppers, so on and so forth.
Yep.
I absolutely love this. I love it when these trailers kind of have a little party piece. So even though it's a little bit more expensive than I tend to like, it's a little bit higher on the installation that I tend to like, all that stuff, that little party piece absolutely makes it to where it's worth it.
Oh yeah, 100%. So your last one, we update the radio tower. It's by Carl TG. It's going to be 4.25 megabytes to download. You have a changelog 1.0.1.0. Fix an issue where players could receive more money than the money option that was intended.
So this is a nice little generator for less than 5 megabytes to install. If you like using generators and stuff to kind of help you along in your game files and in your gameplays, this is a solid one. It's a really solid one, and yeah, worth installing.
Oh, yeah. All right, that's all the updates and mods done.
Ooh, so yeah, I hate to do this, bud, but it is almost 1:30 in the morning, and unfortunately, I've got to work in the morning, so I'm not going to be able to stick around.
That's right. Yeah, I mean there wasn't really that much news that was like big news. There is only one piece of news I do want to go over real quick.
Sure.
And that was from Custom Modding. So so it's official announcements. The Velmetal Max 10 Lagoon pumps. This is going to be a big game changer. So this will actually work. So you actually have to back this in, put it into the slurry. It will actually show an animation of it moving around, and it will shoot out a little hose, and then it will actually lead up to this upper part that dips down, so you'll be able to fill up your slurry, your slurry tanker. Now, one thing that I know that somebody was talking about was, how is this going to work with base game Slurry Lagoons, right?
Real quick, what date is this taking place on?
February 26th.
26. I'm just trying to find it so I can. 28th, 7th. Do, 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 do. All right, and who is it by again?
Custom modding.
Custom. Uh,
So, so if you click on the link, you see like the very first picture. So like the part that's behind the one 8RX, that part you back into the Slayer Lagoon, and then there's a turbo thing down there that basically spins it, like mixes it, it agitates it. And then there's a little hose thing that that spits it out, extra stuff, and so it continue to agitate. And then look down the second picture, it goes up a tube and goes into the other part that sits up above. And then you back your slurry tanker up and you fill. Now, somebody asked, how will this work with base game slurry lagoons, right? Because it won't work, right? Custom modding is making their very own slurry lagoon to go with this to make it work.
that's awesome.
So that's really the only big news I really wanted to go over. So, but
No, I mean that looks fantastic and definitely going to be something that'll be a welcome addition to the game. Now, what I worry about, and this is just, just kind of speculation because I don't know much about this particular mod. Um, this system that's being developed, by Custom, is it going to be kind of this one, I don't want to say like one trick pony, but, kind of, you understand what I'm saying? Like, is it just where we're going to take this machine, connect it to this machine, and get it from this slurry lagoon and put it into a slurry spreader kind of thing? Or is there going to be something in addition to it? Because it's one of those where I could see this being awesome. Don't get me wrong, by itself is awesome. But I hope that there's something to kind of maintain the interest. Does that make sense?
no, I 100% get you. I mean, I personally am very excited. You know, I understand that some people that's not how they do it. But from around where I am, like almost every farm in New York State, you'll see that, and I just think it's awesome.
Oh, and like I said, no, I think that by itself this is awesome. Any kind of feature like this is going to be fantastic. Like I said, my only worry is that if it's this and this alone, it would kind of run its course relatively quickly. So,
Yeah.
but I could be 100% wrong about that.
I
Like I said, I'm not trying to take a strong opinion either way.
I personally feel like it's gonna be a very popular mod, personally. But now,
Hmm.
now, just real quick, it's gonna take Lily a second.
Sure.
Now, for the Velmetal Max Slurry Tanker pack from Heavis 22, that was pretty close to 200 megabytes, right? Now, then they came out with their Velmetal Fat Mix pack, which came with this stationary feed mixer and then your regular feed mixer. That one was roughly about 30 megabytes, roughly. My biggest concern is this. And it's not really a big concern, I guess, but what happens if Giants is like, okay, you have all this metal stuff, put it into one pack?
Oh wow.
Or if anything, put all the slurry stuff together, and then you can have this separate. You know,
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I'll download it hands down because I'm excited. But but that's just one of my big concerns. It's not going to be 1.3 gigs, Like, you know.
1.3.
Yeah, 'cause-
1.3.
Oh man, I was waiting to get up to that, bud. It didn't help. I mean, we got a lot of mods, which didn't help
Oh
because
yeah.
we didn't really talk about that much news. But at least we got all through the mods though. So
Yes. Yes. We did make it.
well, I don't want to keep you, man, because I know you gotta go to work pretty soon. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do my sign off, and I'll tell you what. Are you signing off as well, or
yeah,
you gonna sign off as well? All right, so I'll go ahead and sign off. We can both sign off, and I'll catch you on the other side of the bumper.
all right, sounds good.
All right. Well, everybody, that's the end of Agribusiness tonight. We were not able to get through everything here tonight, but as you can see, there was a ton of stuff to cover tonight. I want to thank Arthur so very much for coming out here tonight, hanging out with us, and doing Agribusiness tonight. It was a pleasure to talk with him tonight, and hopefully we can have him back when he's a little less distracted with the animals. But I completely understand, having pets of my own, you gotta make sure that you're keeping an eye on them. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please show us by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. The shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care.
All right, there, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys really enjoyed everything. Um, I know BD and I are really having a lot of fun doing agribusiness tonight. That's a very popular thing right now, which is awesome. But if you guys like what you guys saw, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified whenever I post a video or go live. Please, and also make sure you smash that like button and then share the video. Other than that, hopefully you guys have a wonderful night. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys later.